This is Whataburger Friday Night Stars, presented by Game On Sports, live from the Star in Frisco, Texas, and the Dallas Cowboys headquarters. Here's Kyle Yeomans, Zach Wolchuk, Eric Chiafalo, and Heckma Harrison.
Whataburger Friday Night Stars back for the week before the week. It's the semifinal matchups around Texas high school football. We are extremely excited for a lot of these matchups, most of which taking place actually on Saturday. So it'll be Saturday Night Lights, I guess, or Saturday Night Stars. But we're Friday Night Stars. Our show's on Friday, maybe for the final time this season. We'll let you know about that later on whenever that decision is made. But for now, glad you're with us. Heckma Harrison, Zach Wolchuk, and Eric Chiafalo. I'm Kyle Yeomans, live from the Star in Frisco. We're going to run down all you need to know about Texas UIL semifinals. This is going to be a fun week, guys, and it starts tonight. Lots of games going on, but for the most part, the big, meaty matchups are tomorrow night. But what are we most excited about? Because there's a lot to talk about heading into the final, really the final round before the finals.
Kyle, why are you playing with it? You know what we're excited about. Why are you doing that? The build-up, cut it out.
We've been waiting
cut it out.
since
cut
August.
Cut
Let's
it out.
go.
Come on. Let's not ease into this thing. You know what we're here for.
The Alito Bearcats and Wichita.
Absolutely. We're here for that. We're here for that.
Pleasant Grove's got a heck of a match.
We're here for that as well.
We're here for all those games, but there's one special game.
Come on. Come on, give it to us.
One matchup that's been building to this point. Two Titanic ships colliding.
Hey, dude, if you call Amarillo Tascosa a Titanic ship, then that's on you, bro. But
That
Longview,
too. That too. That too.
You know what I'm saying? I'm with you. With Longview there.
With who's who, man?
Well, how about let's get into
that.
that Titanic matchup. Duncanville, Allen.
I was thinking Highland Park and Ryan.
Oh,
now, I'm
okay.
just kidding. That's also a big one. But Allen and Duncanville, no doubt, the one that we've been
my
preaching
gosh.
about.
And this is exactly what has happened. We saw this game, week one?
Yeah.
Right.
And we looked at it and said, hey, if the football gods are a thing, then these two teams will meet.
They're a thing, baby.
Well, guess what? They're a thing because we're getting Duncanville.
And we're not going to drive Chris crazy by talking about this for an hour, by the way,
No, we
guys.
probably will, actually.
Yeah, I think we're definitely going to talk about it for at least an hour and 5 minutes.
Do it.
No, we're not going to talk about it for now, but we are going to talk about it right now. Let's look at this because Duncanville with probably – actually, I'm not even going to say probably. Let's just say the biggest, most impressive win really of the entire season. 51-7 just across the hallway from where we are right now with Duncanville over South Lake Carroll and TJ McDaniel. Last week, the Landry Award winner had no answer for that Duncanville defense, and Duncanville just absolutely manhandled an undefeated, a state championship caliber South Lake Carroll team. This Duncanville team is special, and we knew that going into this game, but this just solidifies how special this Duncanville program really has been under Coach Sample.
That is the worst playoff loss ever
Call it.
for South Lake Carroll. Ever in their school's history. The worst playoff defeat they have ever suffered, 51-7. They had 3 turnovers all year going into that game. How many did they have? How many did that Duncanville defense force?
Not
that
one.
Historically great.
Not 2. Not even 3.
Not even 4.
What?
Not 5.
It was 5. I think it was 5.
5
It was
turnovers.
absolutely 5.
It was 5 turnovers.
Bowers
forced.
had no picks, right, coming into the game.
And his first pick is a pick 6 to the house.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and then he had 2 more. So that was the kind of day they had. Duncanville was just absolutely dominant.
Look, guys, we got a 2-hour show, and I'm going to try and keep it all on the rails for 2 hours, okay?
Well, good luck.
But all I'm saying is that last Saturday, we had a guy in here with a really nice suit. What's his name?
Pat
Tony.
Pat Coney.
Positive Pat.
Coney.
Pat, my
Pat
man.
Coney
You
with the
didn't
P.
retweet us, Pat. We got something to say to you about that. But either way, got to tell you, Pat, you were on the show, and you called my man, what did he call him? He called him Sean McVay, didn't he? He said he was ish. Didn't he say ish?
Yeah.
See, that's the thing about football that really drives me crazy, the comparison thing. because we don't wait for the proof to come out in the pudding. We just jump out the cake and say, it's pudding, right?
Like, oh, you're young.
Yeah.
You're good looking.
Yeah.
And you're an offensive guy.
Let's go.
Sean McVay-ish.
So what I'm saying, I get it. And I know we're in a hurry to try and find the next Elon Musk of football, right? But then you pick Southlake, and Duncanville came out and put boot. I mean, it was one of the best high school football games I've seen in a very long time. TJ McDaniel, nothing but respect for that kid. He did something that no other running back has ever done against the Duncanville defenses, put up 100 yards total on them. But the hit in the first quarter, guys, if you watch the first quarter, there was a hit against TJ McDaniel on just a little out pass.
Oh, yeah.
That started the whole –
Chris Thompson.
It started the whole night.
Yep.
It set the tone.
Yeah.
It
He
set
went
the
one
tone
way, his helmet
early.
went the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And we'll see it here in a little bit, but this is an unbelievable hit overall. Let's take a look at this. Look at the top part of the screen. Boom!
I mean, hey, man.
Just-
I think it's that.
Look at he's looking around, man. Chris Thompson,
Flexing
yeah,
on
I'm flexing on him.
That's called. That's
That's a man hit.
That is a
Good.
man.
That is a man
That
hit.
defense.
Look at this right here. Let's watch
Bowers
it again.
takes a shot. McDaniel takes a shot.
Great catch.
So, guys,
That's a perfect
he did
depiction
really
of that
did.
whole day for Southlake right there.
So that pass right there, that play right there, I believe that everybody in the whole stadium took a gasp.
Oh no, they did. It was a collective gasp on both sides. Both Southlake.
Oh!
Southlake was like, oh no, like that was not good.
Yeah, we're in
You
for a
could
long
hear
one.
it. That
Yeah.
place was packed. There were 12,000 plus in the Ford Center, and you could hear the hit.
I'll tell you what, I'm
That's
glad you
unbelievable.
bring up attendance because I think we might break the attendance record set in 2013, Allen and Pearland, tomorrow with Allen and Duncanville. You've got number 1 nationally ranked Allen versus number 11 nationally ranked Duncanville.
Man.
This is what it's all about right here.
We've talked about Duncanville for a little bit, and yeah, they had a really impressive win, 51-7. But then now they've got Allen, and this is let's put the tires to the floor where we talked about all season long.
Right.
We've picked Duncanville. I've picked Duncanville. Zach, I think your state champion was Duncanville. Heckma, did you pick Duncanville all the way?
I didn't. I didn't
Did you
pick.
pick
I didn't
Allen?
even. I didn't even pick a state
bracket?
I
Oh,
didn't.
okay.
I think
Well,
you
that's
had Horn. Heckma. Or no, that was just week 1. I'm sorry, Heckma. My bad.
preseason.
Why'd I do that to you?
With
He
that
was
being
rocking Horn.
said, Allen is still Allen. And this is a team that's won.
Oh,
as
Allen
many
gonna
games-
Allen. And by the way, folks, I just got to throw this out there because this is our show. We can say what we want. We don't have to, BPC here. Have you seen the article that the Dallas Morning News is pumping out? Sports Day is the 3-part series about Allen.
He's coming out firing.
Yeah. The trilogy.
They're just kind of dissecting, what it's like to have a team and a school that big, and the effects that it has not only on athletics but on transfers and kids moving into that area because of the success that the school's had. And also academically. And look, Allen academically is still doing sensationally well, but there is something to be said here. Over the last 20 to 30 years, we've become very lax as school districts in allowing these kids to transfer. I mean, and Duncanville in this matchup has had the Beeson twins. They've gone ahead. They transferred this year from Bishop Dunn over to Duncanville, and they will have a huge impact on tomorrow's game. When you've talked about that, Heckma,
Right.
Marquez Beeson matching up alongside Theo Weiss, and on the other side, the other Beeson brother, one of the most outstanding wide receivers in the state. Now, he doesn't get a whole lot of love because that offense is predicated on running the football, but in my opinion, if Duncanville's going to win this game, Quinton Jackson's going to have to take his shots, and you bet Beeson's going to be on the other end of that.
Yeah, it was a very intriguing conversation, but you're right, Kyle.
Zariah Beeson, that's his name.
Zariah Beeson, his brother, Junior Zariah
Yeah,
Beeson.
Junior.
Yes, sir. And that was the article was really good, but the truth is that Allen is really good.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be a cakewalk at all for Duncanville. They're going to come up against a formidable opponent that we talk about the law firm, Tisdale and Weiss. There's something to the fact that these guys can score quick, fast, and literally Theo Weiss is unstoppable. I don't know
if we've even still seen how good Theo Weiss can really
we will
be.
see. We'll see tomorrow.
I think tomorrow will be that chance. And there's a big reason why he is going to OU. And there's a reason why he's one of the most respected wideouts in all of the nation right now. I think we're going to see that against that defense tomorrow because that's going to be a dogfight. I don't care who he goes up against, whether it's the right or left side of that Duncanville defense, they're going to have somebody that's going to cover him.
Now, and you know that we talk about Tisdale and Weiss, but the truth is they are so stout in the trenches. The kid that I talked about earlier in the season, EJ Ndoma Ogar, he really wants it.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see that matchup because I think that's where you see who's going to win this game, who wins the war of the trenches.
And that's
Yeah, and
that's a big one because I think Allen suffered a couple injuries.
they did, yeah. So
Last
they're a
week.
little banged. Their center got hurt and their right guard both got hurt in that game against Midway. So we talked, and that's something, Heckman and I have talked on the phone leading up to this one. We get together on a phone call 30 minutes
FaceTime
later.
FaceTime.
You bet it. What
Of
other
course
way?
it was.
What other way other than FaceTime? Modern technology, right? But we talked about that. The defensive line of Duncanville that's been so good all year long, especially inside. Their defensive tackle is one of the best players in the country, in my opinion. He's outstanding. But that offensive line for Allen, they've just been able to really maul people. We've talked to Pickle, who seemingly covered every single Allen game during the regular season.
There was
And
a reason for that.
Yeah, and every time she basically just said, they're just wearing teams down late in the game. Maybe there was a team that could play with them for the first quarter or a half, and then you'd see the third and the fourth quarter, they would really start to just manhandle teams. But for Duncanville, they have excelled in the third quarter of football games. They have not allowed a single point all year long in the third quarter.
Let that marinate in your spirit.
A single point all year long
That's
in
unbelievable.
the third quarter.
You think about the adjustments and coaching wise, then obviously all the credit in the world to the players there with their defense. But you said it, that running game and that offensive line has been huge for Allen this year. And without their starting center, starting guard, and you're going up against a Duncanville defense like this is they haven't seen a defense anywhere close to this all year. And now you're coming in a little bit shorthanded.
And they'll be
really the
game time
worst thing that they
decisions,
could
but you
imagine.
got to think they're not 100%.
They're not 100%, and that's if they play at all. So it's going to be an absolute dogfight. That Duncanville defense, they've been unbelievable all year, and we've talked about it, but they go beat a team like Southlake the way they did last week, and now everybody starts perking up. Holy smokes, we got ourselves a big one tomorrow.
Well, let's look at what Allen has in terms of how they got there. We talked about the Midway game, and even though it was a 51-7 beatdown, both of these teams winning by the same exact score in the state quarterfinals. But before that, you look at Allen and the close game they had against the Woodlands. If we want to even go farther back, Allen and Rockwall. Rockwall had the ball down by 5 in the fourth quarter. And there was a good chance there that Allen might have dropped a game in a shootout to Rockwall. Now you look at the comparison statistically between Duncanville and Allen. Duncanville's got an offense that can put up points against Allen as well. If you're going to get in a dogfight with an Allen Eagle team, you not only have to be able to put up points, but you got to have a defense. And Duncanville may be the first team that has both, that has played Allen with at least this much talent on both sides of the ball.
Jaquindon Jackson.
Amen.
When you got an opportunity to see a kid like Jaquindon Jackson, Jaquindon Jackson doesn't do anything but hit his head on the goalpost.
That's right. He's just a magnet. I don't know what the deal is.
Boom! he's gonna find a way to make that happen. And you say it right. Allen has faced a lot of formidable opponents that have been multidimensional with a running game, but I don't think that they've seen a kid quite as multidimensional as Jaquindon Jackson.
And I don't think people realize just how big Jaquindon Jackson
He's
is.
a
big dude.
He is
And there's a reason-
strong kid.
Texas, Oklahoma, Alabama
Yeah.
are offering this kid.
He is a monster. You
No
do
doubt.
not want to tackle this guy. And he is coming downhill at you. He's going to run it at you 20 times a game, and he's coming at you every single time.
And so it's a big difference when you start looking at this game. And Chuck, we talked about it. We know that Allen has an offense that is unstoppable. It's amazing, and that's the matchup that we're looking for. We know that Duncanville has the defense. The true test of this game is going to be, can Allen's defense stop Jaquindon Jackson?
Yeah, that's huge.
And Allen has come up with big turnovers in the fourth quarter. They don't beat themselves. And the thing with Duncanville, though, sorry to interrupt you there, Kyle.
No, you're good.
That's different to Rockwall. Rockwall, they couldn't stop Jackson Smith and Geba on the outside, right? The Ohio State committed receiver. He'll be back next year as a senior. So they were really throwing the ball. Duncanville, I don't think Allen's seen a front that's going to line up and smack them in the mouth and want to run the football like Jaquindon Johnson and like Tristan Smith running the football. And that's why I think for Duncanville, they're going to stick to their formula. They'll stick to their game plan. But I really do believe it will take a play or maybe two through the air to stretch the field from Jaquindon Jackson, whether it's to Marquez Beeson, who plays both ways, whether it's to Zariah Beeson or somebody else in the passing game. But it's going to take something for Duncanville to stretch the field vertically against Allen.
Well, let me ask y'all this question, because in terms of the route that both of these two teams have taken to get to this point, which one's tougher? And even if it is tougher, who has a better advantage based off of who they played? And we look up there, you see Rowlett, Rockwall, the Woodlands, and Waco Midway up there for Allen. And then underneath that for Duncanville, South Grand Prairie, Louisville, Arlington, Lamar, and South Lake Carroll. I think I'm leaning more toward the fact that Duncanville's had a tougher task ahead of them week in and week out. Yeah, the Woodlands, yeah, Rockwall, yeah, Waco Midway, those are stout opponents, but I still think I would take South Lake Carroll, Arlington, Lamar, or Louisville over any three of those teams.
Yeah, that's a
I agree.
That's a tough go. And don't forget that South Grand Prairie really gave them a tough go in the first half of their playoff game.
Yeah,
as
that was a close game.
Yeah, so I mean, really looking at it and saying what team is battle tested. Obviously, I'm going to go with the Panthers. But again, we have to go back to the fact that Allen is really, really good. They are who they are for a reason. One of the things that I wanted to point out, and I couldn't wait to – sorry we didn't get an opportunity to talk to Coach, and I know it was because of the family issues, but just how he handles all of that talent. I think that is a skill as well. I mean, yeah, it's one thing to have all those kids, but it's another thing to be able to manage that much talent. And they do a better job than literally everybody else at managing it.
Yeah, and that's the thing is you look at the Dallas Morning News and the articles that are coming out about the size of Allen. Everybody has kids, and everybody's given what they're given in terms of a youth program and development. Allen just does a better job of it. They are able to do that even with the magnitude of players that are coming into their program. I agree. The managing of that program is pretty unbelievable from really just a general standpoint. On the other side of that bracket, you look at North Shore and Lake Travis, and those are two teams that you kind of circled out of their regions. In Region 3 and Region 4, they'll await the winner of Duncanville versus Allen. And is there any chance – I mean, I know we're a little bit biased. We're in the North Texas area.
Yes, the answer is yes. Galena Park North Shore has the best player in the country in the class of 2020 by the name of Zachary Evans at running back.
And he's
a man-child.
Dead serious.
He's a man-child.
Yeah.
Galena Park North Shore is just as good as Allen and Duncanville.
Okay.
They will absolutely play with them. And last year, you saw Lake Travis play with Allen, and their starting quarterback got hurt in the first or second series. So no doubt, that state championship game, no matter which two of these four teams are left, is going to be a mega matchup.
How does Lake Travis get these quarterbacks? I mean, what a quarterback!
It's a similar thing, man, because you get known for it, right? You have success. Lake Travis obviously has success every year.
It's Highland Park.
People want to move. People want to send their kid there.
Absolutely.
People want to move into that neighborhood. They grow up, and it just becomes part of their culture. They breed quality quarterback play.
Well, you look at Austin in general. Westlake, of course, breeding quarterbacks. You got Ellinger, you got Charlie Brewer, who are starting at Texas and Baylor, respectively. That's Westlake versus Lake Travis. Wow. I mean, those are two Division I quarterbacks there. You look at both of those programs right now, have quality quarterbacks playing in that system currently. And then, of course, the patch. You got Baker Mayfield for Lake Travis. You've got Nick Foles and Drew Brees for Westlake. That's just an area where those two schools are separated by, about 10 miles, 15 miles or so? Yeah. And they're breeding not just Division I quarterbacks, but NFL caliber quarterbacks
arms
from the get-go. So just an unbelievable matchup on the horizon for next week in the 6A Division I level. And like you said, I think whoever comes out of either one of those two games, North Shore or Lake Travis, and or Duncanville or Allen, whoever wins either one of those respective games, man, that's a massive matchup.
Yeah, and Chuck, you said it just as well. When it comes down to our bias in North Texas, we know these guys, we see them, and so we ask that question. Well, can Lake Travis or North Shore actually beat out? We don't see him. You mentioned the running back. This guy is. Man,
special.
It's very special, and you. It's clear that there are teams in Texas that can play with them. Now we have the best four teams in the state that can actually meet for the state championship.
And if I can give you one X factor in tomorrow's game,
got it.
He's a punter, Duncanville.
A punter?
Anthony Cruz. This guy creates great field position for that Duncanville defense. They've created multiple scoring opportunities for their own defense just by pinning teams back inside the 5-yard line throughout not only the season but also in the playoffs. So that is something. Field position will be huge in this game. And I know punters, they're not football players, but they are people. We got to show them love.
Tell you
right?
what,
This guy
I got
is an
special
absolute
teams.
stud.
You want to go special teams?
I'm down.
That's your boy,
3
Chuck.
phases, Heckma.
No,
3 phases.
Hey, no,
Heckma.
you're 100% right. Allen blocked 5 kicks on the season.
I don't think Cruz has had a punt blocked in his entire career.
So, you know what? That's a
Kinda going out on
That's a
a limb.
matchup
It
in
is
itself right there. It doesn't matter who's on the field. If they're punting, field goal kicking, every snap matters.
I would beg to ask how many times Duncanville punted against Southlake last week.
not much.
Yeah.
Not much.
A lot of it was a defensive score. Let's get right back on the field.
Yeah, Cruz. Hey, that's the thing. Cruz got a fresh leg. That's the other thing. He's coming to this game.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a fresh
Had a
leg.
couple
He is
weeks.
an X factor for real.
He got the freshest leg.
Don't get up to go to the bathroom when these
stank
guys
leg.
are punting tomorrow because you never know what you're going to see. Cruz is a player.
I want to see a fake. I want to see this Cruz guy take
Yeah,
it.
I know. I think he's got some
Full of
speed too.
Chris
No, Cruz. He
Jones.
does have some speed.
Well,
I'm not going to give the scouting report too much here.
we're going to come back from a quick break here on Whataburger Friday Night Stars. When we come back from that break, we're going to look through 6A Division II, also the 5As. We'll tell you about Amarillo Tascosa's backup punter, as he will have a big game tomorrow night.
X
Most
Factor.
likely an
X
X
Factor.
Factor via Eric Chiafalo.
Not as fresh. Still
We'll
an
be
X
back
Factor.
in a moment here on Whataburger Friday Night Stars.
Today at Whataburger, we're cooking the sweet and spicy bacon burger.
The sweet and spicy bacon burger is my all-time favorite.
I love this burger. It's just perfect.
2 beef patties, 2 different types of cheese, caramelized onions. My favorite thing about this burger is the sweet and spicy pepper sauce and the bacon. You get it in every bite.
Nothing beats this.
The sweet and spicy bacon burger is an all-time favorite at Whataburger.
That's happiness.
Little ideas can turn into big dreams. Big dreams require careful planning and the right partner. A partner dedicated to helping you take care of your employees, protect your business, and plan for the future. It's sometimes overwhelming. It's often exciting. It's your story, and we can help. SWBC.
You want to bring the heat? Prove it. With carbs to help fuel muscles. And electrolytes to help replace what you lose in sweat. Studied, tested, proven. Nothing beats Gatorade.
On a Forbidden Fansville by Dr. Pepper.
Ramon, we can't.
But Julia,
We're rivals.
I can love you and still hate your overrated school.
We have 2 different defensive philosophies. You're a base 4-3 cover 2, and I'm an
aggressive 3-4 with press coverage. I get it, but we both love Dr. Pepper.
Oh, Ramon.
Touchdown, State! Yes! In your face!
Dr. Pepper, the official drink of Fansville.
Hey football fans, check this out. It's called Fan Tag, the easiest way to get video highlights from all of your games. As a parent, I know the value of capturing our kids' special moments on video. Fan Tag makes it easy to relive a memory or share it with family, friends, and recruiters. Download the Fan Tag app, and on game day, find your event and get instant highlights delivered right to your phone. So never miss a moment. Try Fan Tag today. It's free.
This is Academy Sports and Outdoors. We offer a huge sports and outdoors selection of top name brand gear like you've never seen. All at low prices like you've never seen. Because we're a sports and outdoor store like you've never seen. Visit us in store or at academy.com for the guaranteed lowest prices. Academy Sports and Outdoors, for all for less.
Inside the Star here in Frisco, Texas, Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters, and of course the capital of Texas high school football. Host to the Ford Center just across the hallway. As of right now, playing host to Pleasant Grove High School in Iowa Park. Let's take a quick look inside the Ford Center just to see how things are going for good old Iowa Park. They knocked off a really good team last week in Glen Rose. Oh no, it's halftime.
Good timing, man.
35-0. Pleasant Grove out of Texarkana, the defending 4A Division II state champions, leading 35-0 at halftime. We've also got the feed from the Big House, Jerry Stadium. That got a little music there as well. It's a party if you're a Lido over Wichita Falls Rider. 28-0 in the second quarter is where we're at there. We get to see a look around the stadium. Alito just now scored.
Jace McClellan again.
Oh, man, he is an absolute monster.
He only had 1,800 yards coming into this game.
Oh, yeah, whatever. Like
well,
40 touchdowns.
Just only.
These teams met last year in the bi-district round.
Couldn't have been good.
Alito won 72-13. Now, Ryder, obviously, state semifinal. This is their second ever state semifinal.
Now, what's their whole name, the full name? What's it, the school?
The Wichita Falls Ryder Raiders.
Ryder Raiders.
They are the Ryder Raiders.
The Ryder Raiders. Actually, the alumni of one J.T. Barrett. We talked about quarterbacks.
Okay.
J.T. Barrett and T.J. Vasher, who's now at Texas Tech.
Yep.
Really, really good receiver. I got to call a game of his a couple of years ago. So Ryder, a school that's pretty proud football program.
They used a couple of those guys.
They're
tonight.
very huge in terms of football because up there, and we've called games. Zach, you and I have called games up in that area before. And you go, we were at, I think at Applebee's, something dumb. We were out there, and it was like on the wall, it was Midwestern State, the college that's out there, and then it was just Rojo everywhere. Like there's other schools.
Y'all couldn't find anywhere besides Applebee's?
Yeah, it's Wichita
What's the
Falls.
neighborhood? You know, everything's good.
They don't got a Whataburger over there?
No, they did.
My
They
goodness.
did. We hit that up like 3 times.
You guys were really slumming it out there.
All right.
But
I had two
Jace
spicy
McClellan
bacon burgers yesterday.
Jace McClellan has 10 carries for 85 yards and 2 touchdowns already.
It's the second.
What a beast.
It's not even the second quarter yet.
Not
He's
even
gonna get to clock out
It is
early
the second
tonight,
quarter. There's like
right?
11 minutes left.
Hey, well,
Thank
Lito's
God.
known for the starters don't play the fourth quarter, so they're trying to keep that tradition alive.
Might not have to play the third.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Yeah, it's pretty
It's
crazy.
really not good for Ryder, a team that loves to run the football. So
Yeah,
now they're
not
down
good at all.
28-0.
They're not really built for
Not
that
ideal.
by any means. Let's look at 6A Division II really quickly. We went through 6A Division I, looked at Allen and Duncanville, of course, probably the matchup of the week. If anybody knows Texas high school football, you're going to be watching that game. But how about Tascosa and Longview? This is the Tascosa team. Eric, you and I were talking about this beforehand. They have absolutely just torn up the sweethearts of Friday Night Stars all year throughout the Dallas-Fort Worth area because my goodness, they take down
all our awesome quarterbacks, man. Our favorite quarterbacks, Coach Peach, we love him, fan of the show, friend of the show, and they absolutely laid the hammer down on them 3 weeks in a row. 3 stud quarterbacks, 3 stud teams.
They defeated Arlington 35-24, beat Mansfield Lankridge 43-34, as you see it there, and then beat Haltom last week and Michael Black, who we'll definitely talk about. I'm going to tease it a little bit. We'll talk about Michael Black and that Haltom team quite a bit during our Friday Night Stars Awards segment that we'll give out right around 8 or right around 9:15 or so.
Is that a spoiler alert?
No, not really.
like
but we'll talk about them for sure. But then you look at Longview on the other side, and they've taken down teams like Prosper and Vandergrift and Austin Westfield. But this is a Longview team that has just been more physical than everyone they've come up against, whereas Amarillo Tascosa is more of a speed-oriented type of team that's really kind of been disrespected. Now they really got another test on the horizon. Is this a Longview team that is going to be able to blow past Amarillo Tascosa, or is Tascosa here for real, guys?
I think they're here for real after beating the teams that we've seen in this area with Arlington, Haltom, Mansfield, Lakeridge. These are 3 teams that we thought had just as good a chance as anybody to make really deep runs into the playoffs. And for Arlington and Lakeridge, they got cut short early, and Haltom as well after a good run for them. So, I mean, Tascosa, they've proven they can slow down really good offenses. I mean, you look at Arlington coming into their game was scoring 46 points a game. They held them to 24 points. Haltom coming into their game was scoring 47 points a game. They held them to 27. This defense only giving up 26 points per game against these high-flying offenses, and I just think this Tascosa defense got to get some credit at some point. These quarterbacks they've beaten, these are 3 top quarterbacks in the area, and they've made them look like shells of themselves for each of these 3 games. And Longview's got a great quarterback coming in. Now, Longview's absolutely the best team they've seen in the last month, no question. The Lobos, and they're coming off a tough one. They needed a second-half push last week, fellas, in order to get that one done. But they had 4 turnovers last week, Longview did, still won the game. So Longview, I still would say is the better team, but Tascosa absolutely deserves some respect. Now, they run the flexbone offense. So they run, I mean, we're going back into the 80s. We're going back into the old times here, but these guys do it well. They run for over 400 yards a game, and, Longview does it as well. They both run the ball incredibly good. I think this is a tough matchup for Longview, but I do think they are the better team. But to answer your question, no way they just blow the doors open here. I think that Tascosa defense is too good.
Yeah, they've been playing well. I mean, 23 sacks, 23 takeaways. They're led by Brandon White, who's a safety commit to Baylor.
8 picks this year.
8 interceptions. I mean, he's a ball hawk back there. So that's right. I mean, Amarillo Tascosa, they've stepped up against, like we just mentioned, Eric, Arlington and Haltom were one of the best offenses from the DFW area. So Tascosa, a team that feels disrespected, they're making their first state semifinal appearance since 1964. That might be
still running the same offense.
That might be a little bit why. I mean, they're the first Amarillo team to make it this far since 1992. So, to me, let's celebrate Amarillo Tascosa and then the run that they're made instead of whining about, well, the DFW teams are disrespecting you, right? Or some of the media here in DFW is disrespecting you. There's a lot to like about this Amarillo Tascosa team. They've gone on an excellent run. They do run that flex bone, and I think ultimately in this game, Longview's ability to be more of a quick strike offense could be the difference maker here, because Amarillo Tascosa, they might go on a 10-play, grind it out, 10-minute drive, and then here comes Haynes King and company, and the Lobos just, boom, right back at them. And that at times can just suck the life out of you a little bit. Longview can really win any way you want it. You want a long track meet, we'll go back and forth, that's fine. You want a 14-0 game like they beat Spring Westfield last week, slug it out, run it out, which is probably how this game will go. They can beat you there. So Amarillo Tascosa has their hands full, but they absolutely have played great football here in the playoffs, and they deserve to be respected.
Yeah, Coach Pluck for the Amarillo Tascosa, what their commitment is to the running game is ridiculous. They're not going to pass the ball. I think they passed the ball twice last week versus Haltom, period.
0 times against Lakeridge the week before.
Okay, so they are committed to the run. And when it comes down to football, there's a recipe to success, and I think they found it. Good defense, get the offense off the field on third downs, and also ball control. And that's exactly what they did to Mike Black. I mean, if you look at it, the time of possession for Halton was severely low.
Yeah.
Okay, they could not, get first downs, and Tascosa just takes you out of your game. I think they're going to do the same thing. Now, it doesn't bother me that these guys out in West Texas have to take whatever media clippings that they need to be motivated, but they know they are the underdog. No one's looking for them because nobody knows about what's going on in Amarillo football until they reach the playoffs. But guess what? Everybody knows who Tascosa is now.
Yeah, this is your time to shine with it. And you mentioned the time of possession and running the football. That's something that this team has been, that's their identity. It has been really since the beginning of the season. Is that something that Longview matches up better with than some of the other programs that they faced throughout the playoffs, such as Lake Ridge? And then you look at Arlington, you look at teams like Haltom. Those are all high-powered teams with passing quarterbacks that will throw the football. If you don't have them on the field, it's going to hurt their chances to put points up on the board. This is a physical Longview team that might not match up as well for Tascosa going into it.
Yeah, I mean, Longview plays actual great defense as well, though. I mean, it's
and
not
they'll
just
have the speed advantage, which I think will be huge.
No question. I think the key for their defense really just don't over pursue, because that flex one offense can be a little bit deceptive, and that's really the only thing that Longview defense needs to worry about, because they've been dominant. They only give up 130 rushing yards a game, and they have 91 tackles for loss this year, 28 sacks, and 25 takeaways. Oh, and they get off the field on third down 65% of the time. Now you flip it to their offense stays on the field and converts 65% of their third downs. So they can keep drives alive too. As much as you say, Zach, they can be quick strike, they can do that. But like you said, they can hang with you if you want a grind out game. Yep. We can do that as well. We got Jesse Anderson. My boy just got his first D1 offer this week. Abilene Christian University. He had a nice game last week. He's had a really nice season. He is a bumbling, stumbling running back that you don't want to mess with. And then Keelan Williams is their kind of gadget guy, a little bit quicker, smaller guy.
And they'll play them both at the same time.
Oh yeah,
one at fullback.
Absolutely. Anderson will block you.
Yep.
He'll block you, or he'll run through you for a touchdown.
And Haynes King can run.
Haynes King can run. And I think a question for this game is, how does Haynes King bounce back from his poor game last week? Because last week only threw for 95 yards, had 2 interceptions, 2 of those 4 turnovers for Longview, all on King. How do you bounce back against a Tascosa defense that is really good? Your defense bailed you out. Your running game bailed you out last week. How do you come back, Haynes King, after a performance like that against a tough Tascosa defense? I think he comes out performance well. He's had a great season this year, and I think last week, a little bump in the road, he gets things going again.
Yeah, I think he hits Camden Perry
absolutely
for at least one long touchdown in this one. I think that's where Longview has the advantage. Last week in Spring Westfield, another big physical run-heavy team, as you've talked about, Heckma. They controlled the clock. They won time of possession. They took Spring Westfield style of football and really shoved it down their throat.
I tell you what, guys, the one thing about what do you call a flex bone? I come from the wishbone area. It's called a wishbone flex.
It's a cousin.
It's a cousin.
Yeah,
all right,
same family.
The one thing about that offense that is just, it just gets under your skin is that you have those offensive linemen that get into your legs and get you down on the ground, and it's like that for 4 quarters of football. They're chop blocking you the whole time. And the thing is, like, when you look in the SEC, I think the Georgia Tech is in the ACC. They run that same kind of offense, and it's one of those deals where you can have the greatest defense in the world. You're going to see this one time on your schedule every year, and you have to prepare for it, and you have to stay disciplined, and you have to play a type of defense that you hadn't become accustomed to playing all year. Next thing you know, they hit you for 40 yards. They hit you for something short. Next thing you know, I mean, it's just happening over and over again, and I think that's what Tascosa does to teams, because they're not used to seeing that. Everybody's running the RPO. No one's running that flex bone kind of style of offense. They're used to offensive linemen kind of stutter stepping up and then going in the run. No, these guys are firing off the ball and they're trying to get you on the ground. And so Tascosa has had a lot of success with that, and teams are just not able to match that because of the unorthodox style of football that they're playing.
That's a great point. Yeah, these defenses are not used to it. Now, fortunately, Longview is really, really good. They stop the run well. But like you said, this is a different kind of offense than what you're used to seeing. Yeah. So you do have to stay completely disciplined because they'll grind it out with a 1-yard gain, a 3-yard gain, a 2-yard gain, get in 4th and 1. All right, we're going for it. We'll get the 1 yard. Man. Next thing you know, they pop off a 50-yarder. But the other thing Tascosa does, they've only thrown the ball 89 times this year. So they really pick their spots, but they average 20 yards per completion. So when they do it, sometimes they catch you to sleep. They've ran the ball literally 30 times in a row.
Yeah.
You're exhausted. They've had some success. Boom, play action. They hit you deep, and it's at least a 20-yard gain because that's what they average. So that's the other thing, Longview. Don't over-pursue with your speed. But the other thing is you can't fall asleep on that passing play because they're only going to throw it about 3, 5, 6 times, but a couple of those might be for 40-yard touchdowns.
To the
you can't
house.
let them get behind you.
Yeah, and Longview's athletes, I just think, are too good. But you look at Plunk's numbers, obviously the son of the coach at quarterback. He's got under 600 yards passing all year.
Yep.
And that's over a 14-game spread. So, while, they'll hit you, they don't want to do that.
No, absolutely.
They don't want to
89 times.
They don't
They've thrown it 89 times this year.
If Plunk threw the ball 20 times.
If they're going to win this game, it's definitely on the ground. And to go back to your initial question, Kyle, I think that this one will be competitive, but I just think Longview is a much, much better football team than Amarillo Tascosa. I think when it's all said and done, they'll win this game by double digits.
Well, then you look on the other side of things, and Westlake and Westbrook are on the other side of that bracket, and that's a Westlake team that really likes to throw the football. That's a Westbrook team that really can't throw the football. Now, I think they like to establish to run better if you're looking at Westbrook, but I think Westlake can throw the football as well. Longview, I just look at this, and I think they match up better with Tascosa than any of those other DFW teams with the quarterbacks that we had talked about did for the past 3 weeks. So I agree with you in that fact, but this is another division that's going to be decided really by maybe not, I would probably say decided by style more so than it's decided by skill, much like we saw in 6A.
Hey, styles make fights. I think these are fun fights.
Yeah, I think these are going to be 2 really good fights in 6A Division 2. Let's go to 5A Division 1, and this is a matchup that not only have we been waiting all season for it, but we've seen it 3 times in a row now in a state semifinal. Highland Park, Denton Ryan. Oh, man.
It's the 3rd time the charm.
Is it for Denton Ryan?
I covered the teams the last 2 years.
Are we just going to go right into this?
Yes.
On paper, you would not think that Denton Ryan is as good as they've been the previous 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know that they'd be favored necessarily like they were going into the other 2 games previously. But, I mean, Coach Hennigan has preached all week long that the reality of this game is this year's Ryan's team has never played Highland Park before, and this year's Highland Park team has never played Ryan. So the last thing he wants is his kids thinking last year's game and the year before have anything to do with this game. And this is a clean slate. He's got his guys just prepared and focused on tomorrow at noon and beating the Highland Park Scots in the previous 2 years. It's true. There's been a lot of turnover for both sides. You've got 2 completely new starting quarterbacks. You've got the receivers all graduated from Ryan. The one thing is this Ryan defense is back from last year. I think 8 of the starters started in last year's game. Oh, and they added a man by the name of Drew Sanders.
Yeah, he is a man. That's exactly right.
Tarzan
is probably the best linebacker that Highland Park has played this year, and might very well be the best linebacker
ever.
He's currently their best quarterback. He's their best running back. He's awesome.
Yeah, I think that Drew Sanders will have something to say about this year's version of the rematch compared to the previous 2. But on the other side, did you guys see the way that Highland Park came back against John Tyler?
Oh, man.
Did you see Chandler Morris become Superman?
No, you got to see this, man. I mean, this is before we get to Chandler Morris. He's going to get plenty of airtime right now. But guys, Denton Ryan,
they got athletes,
is balling.
They got athletes.
But this guy, this number 16 is built like a Greek statue.
He looks like Gronk. I mean, he literally looks like Gronk out there on the field. It's insane.
They've got big boys. The issue to me is coming down to it.
There he is. Watch Gronk. There's Gronk going to score.
Amazing, and he's fast.
Oh, he can move.
And he's fast, and he's quick. And
17 touchdowns on offense, and he's got 2 interceptions returned for touchdowns on defense. And Ryan's now featuring that 2-back attack. You saw number 9 in white. That's Amani Bailey, their junior, and then Kiori Hicks for Ryan. But They play kids on both ways. I mean, it's unbelievable when you look at most of their starters their big players on offense all start on defense. And when you play against a team that has a ton of depth in Highland Park, I think that has hurt Ryan the last 2 months.
Chuck, just to respect what you just said, man, we can't even talk about this game without talking about what Highland Park did last Saturday. That comeback victory, Chandler Morris probably put himself in Texas high school history. That was an amazing game. I always want to give myself credit for saying something, right? But there's those times that you see a guy go from being a pretty good quarterback, being all right, to now being a great quarterback. I think you saw him turn that corner. He is a great quarterback. Amazing arm on this kid.
Yeah.
Amazing arm on a kid.
Legs. I mean, he's second on the team in rushing. He's averaging 10 carries a game. That's their identity. I mean, that's who they are. They saved Chandler Morris for much of the regular season because they didn't need to utilize his legs. Now, when they need it, like they did in that fourth quarter against Tyler John Tyler,
Tyler beat them. They beat
quarters.
Them. The game was over. It was finished. There was no more. All they had to do was milk the clock. 14 points. It's all you're done. He finished. All right, guys, we're going to the semis, right? And Chandler Morris.
It was 21 points comeback.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
28-0 run in that fourth quarter for Highland Park.
How?
Hudson Clark, a couple big time interceptions.
Corwin came up.
I mean, I'm sitting there. I'm like, oh man, all right, and I'm saying to myself, all right, Fred's got to be freaking out right now. Highland Park's about to lose, all right. And I'm thinking about my guys. And I'm like, man, it's the end of the road for HP. It's finally over. I get to go on the and then all of a sudden, Chandler Morris just like
Scotty's find a way.
And he starts to throw the ball. This kid is passing it. And then it's 4 minutes left. And I say to myself, oh, my God, they left way too much time on the clock.
Oh, and they left Finn Corwin wide open. Dang it.
I don't know how that happens. How on every Highland Park highlight there's a Scotty running.
Somebody running wide open.
Wide open.
There's always a next man up. So Drew Dodge, who's been their number 2 receiver for most of the season, breaks his collarbone. He's now done for the rest of the year. So insert Drew Dodge, insert Bennett Brown, insert whoever it is. There will be some, whether it's Paxton Alexander, there will be somebody else on this depth chart for Highland Park that will step up for them.
Guys, I want to volunteer myself as the fan club president for Chandler Morris. Can I do that?
Hey,
I am the new official.
You and I talked a lot about this kid.
There's a lot of people fighting for that.
I'm volunteering myself for.
You can be the president as long as you just know what my hashtag is on this kid.
All good, and that is he will play on Sunday.
Chandler Morris will play on Sundays, man. That kid is that good.
Well,
he has an NFL caliber future.
Yeah, he's got an NFL caliber arm, and he can do it on the ground and through the air. And tomorrow he's going to need all of it because they're not going to be able to run the ball. I think other than him being able to run the ball, Highland Park has an offense. Their running backs, I don't see them being able to run the ball much at all on Denton Ryan. And so I think Chandler Morris, not only with his legs but through the air, is going to have another one of those awesome games. He will be the reason why they win this game, no question.
And I
think their running backs are useless basically in this.
You just said it. He will be the reason they win this
no doubt.
game.
And that's the thing is he is plenty good enough to do it.
Yeah.
Even though there's a polar bear playing on defense somewhere out there, he's got to throw it.
Yeah,
over.
I mean that's a big thing. They've just got a lot of continuity Highland Park does on that offensive line. That offensive line will give them a chance. And 2 years ago, I thought there was absolutely no way that Highland Park's going to run the football on Denton Ryan. Their defensive line was so good. They had multiple Division I athletes playing on that defensive line. Their defensive line is not as – they're athletic. They're maybe faster. They're definitely not as big. That Highland Park offensive line is very good. And Hunter Heath is an emerging star at the running back position for the Scots. I think you'll be surprised at how well Highland Park does run the football because they're just so well coached. They execute to perfection. I think they will have some success. And the other thing is it comes back to their guys playing both ways for Denton Ryan. Mm-hmm. In the fourth quarter,
that's true.
when you've got all these kids that are out there giving it their all on offense, and then they got to turn around and come play another 50 snaps on defense, that will wear down
exhausting.
them, especially in the third quarter. You saw that in last year's game with Ryan and HP.
Well, last week you saw Birdville, who comes out with a great offense, great rushing attack, Ladarius Mixon. Well, they hold them to less than 30 yards rushing.
Well, Mixon did get hurt.
Mixon
and
did
he
get
missed
hurt
the whole
in that
second
game.
half.
He mixed the whole second half. Okay, but still, Birdville as an offense scored or went for a total of 118 yards.
Yeah.
So that Denton Ryan defense is incredible, but I get it. That Highland Park offense is on another level.
They have been on another level, and you saw that putting up 28 points in that fourth quarter. And the man who was not only on the call for that game, but also on the call for last year's Denton Ryan game and the 2016 Highland Park Denton Ryan game, Miles Dunklin joins us now here on Whataburger.
Miles Dunklin.
There he is. As Miles, first off, kind of looking back at last week at the Tyler John Tyler game, I got to listen to your call. Overall, it was just kind of astonishing, to say the least, of how efficient they were able to be in terms of the comeback. And then not only that, but now they've got a matchup on the horizon with Denton Ryan tomorrow.
Well, guys, first of all, it's always a pleasure to be chatting with you boys, especially my guy Heckma Harrison.
Of course, Miles. I know. It's all good.
I want to hear the tough questions.
I got one for you, too. I got it.
As opposed to the marshmallow questions from the rest of you boys.
Wow. I'll tell you what, Miles, you two have the floor.
Bring it on.
You have the floor.
We're talking Scots and Raiders tomorrow.
All right, Heckma, floor's yours, baby.
Yeah, he just completely ignored my
We're going to
question.
step aside. It's the Heckma Harrison Miles Dunklin interview.
Way to go, Miles.
That's right.
I mean, they already know. So, look, Miles, honestly, tell me the truth. Fourth quarter, you were scared, weren't you, Miles? You were scared. You thought it was over.
Heckma, look, no doubt. Look, I'm the biggest Scott homer there is around. I went to Highland Park. I love those boys, and I'm all about Highland Park. But believe me, I was looking down saying, hey, what's my flights next week? You guys know I travel in every week from Denver. I was trying to figure out how to cancel my flights for next week. I thought that thing was over. But nobody on the Scott sideline felt that way. And it's just a special group of coaches and young men. And I got a chance to talk with Chad Morris after the game, Chandler's dad and the head coach of Arkansas, as well as Scott's offensive brain trust. And they've been telling Chandler all year, look, there are times when you are the distributor. There's times when you're the field general, and there are times when you need to take over the game. And Chandler has the capability, when they call upon him, to do just that. And how about his fourth quarter numbers from the other day, fellas? He was 12 for 15 passing for 180 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also rushed for 42 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also caught a ball. Only 5 yards of the entire final 4 drives did not involve Chandler Morris. He completely took over the game. Give a lot of credit to the Scott defensive coaching staff and their strength and conditioning, as they really outlasted John Tyler, who had superior athletes, superior football players through 3 quarters of that game. But the Scots were able to hang in there in quarter number 4, put together 3 solid defensive drives, 4 solid offensive drives, and get out of there with the win.
No, Heckma, this is your segment.
Oh, it's really. Really? Seriously?
Yeah, no. It's all yours.
I'm not asking a
You know what,
question.
Miles? This is just perfect for me because I do have another question. So Miles, all right. So I think when you were here in the studio and I said this to you about Chandler Morris taking himself to a whole nother level. Is there anything is this going to be his staple game when you look back over his career and say, this was special, this one we knew that this guy was Superman for HP?
Well, there's a lot. He's still only a junior.
Exactly. That's right.
He's got a lot of football left in front of him, including his college career, and I think he's got a chance to be a good college player as well. But this is one that this is going to be a special game, guys. I mean, I know it's only a semifinal. And if they're lucky enough to win, they got another one coming up. But, Chandler is in a position where, look, he's the man. And a quarterback at Highland Park is a special position in sports and certainly in this area in high school football. And he's going to have a big stage on Saturday. There's going to be a lot of people there. There's going to be a lot of people that are there, certainly for Duncanville and Allen. Go Panthers, by the way.
Yes, sir.
I did a couple years of Duncanville football, so I'm a big Panther fan as well. But this is a big opportunity for Chandler, and there's a lot of really good defenders on the other side. In terms of what they brought back, Denton Ryan, from last year, they brought back 9 starters, And the two guys that aren't returning are a freak show sophomore and a blue-chip athlete and Drew Sanders, who moved in. So Chandler Morris is definitely going to have a big-time game on Saturday, and they're now without one of their top playmakers and Drew Scott on the outside, who's now out for the season. So Chandler Morris is certainly going to have to do a lot of work on Saturday.
I tell you what, Miles, you hit the nail right on the head about Drew Sanders and the Denton Ryan defense. As far as a superior defense that you've seen all year, I guess next to Frisco Lone Star, have you guys seen any other defense to the level that the Denton Ryan Raiders are?
Well, I mean, that's a good question. It's a question I certainly asked of the Scots Offensive Brain Trust when I was able to talk with them during the week, and they were hesitant to say that this is the best defense they played. And they played a really good schedule, guys. I mean, in their non-district, their three teams they played were Rockwall, Mesquite Horn, and Frisco Lone Star. And then inside their district are teams like Timberview, Mansfield Legacy, and granted, it wasn't the Mansfield Legacy that we all thought we would see when the season started, but and also just some really good teams in there, and certainly their playoff schedule emerging from Region 1 has been special. So the Scott coaching staff was hesitant to say that this is the best team they played this year, but it's certainly right up there. And when you talk about shutting out two consecutive playoff opponents in the third and fourth round, like Denton Ryan has done, I mean, that defense is legit, and they have playmakers all across the board. But what's different about them, maybe from what other schools, is that everybody on their two deep is playing both ways, and I think that's going to play a big factor into the game. That yes, they have some blue chip athletes on the defensive side of the ball, but those guys are also having to play 35, 45 snaps on the offensive side. And in talking to their coaching staff, they only maybe get 45 minutes to an hour coaching on defense in a given game. So I think the fatigue and the fact that guys have to play both ways is going to play a big factor in the game.
Miles Dunklin, voice of the Highland Park Scots, joining us here on Whataburger Friday Night Stars. Miles, have a great call tomorrow afternoon. Highland Park, Denton Ryan on the horizon. Should be a fun one.
Yeah, thanks, boys. Looking forward to it.
There he goes, Miles Dunklin. And, guys, while Miles was talking, of course, I'm paying attention to what he's saying, and I know it's Heckma's segment this time, but I just saw something on one of the screens on the left-hand side, and our viewers at home might have seen me pointing. I was trying to get Zach to look over there. End of the half, 5 seconds left on the clock between Aledo and Wichita Falls Rider. Wichita Falls Rider on the 5-yard line throws it into the end zone, a one-handed interception taken back for a touchdown, a pick six, 105 yards, and Aledo leads Ryder 42-0 at halftime.
That dude just ran right into the tunnel, took that pick six right into the
kept
tunnel,
going.
Took his pads off. He knows he's done for the night, baby.
Well, we'll potentially try and get the highlight of that whenever we come back here on Whataburger Friday Night Stars. We'll talk about the rest of 5A. We'll also hit up all of the other brackets from around the area, and then right around 9:30 we'll give you our Whataburger Friday Night Stars seasonal awards. I know, Heckma,
I am.
You're excited about that one.
Kind of nervous.
Should be kind of fun. We'll be back.
Am I gonna win something?
No, you're not gonna win anything.
Dang it.
Yeah, sorry, Eric. We'll be back here in a minute.
Nothing works up my thirst for an ice-cold Pepsi Cola like getting buckets. Whether I'm breaking ankles or breaking hearts.
Hey, Drew.
It always brings the refreshment, and I've been drinking it a long time.
Drew, how old are you anyway?
Man. Doesn't matter. Uncle Drew, in theaters, June 29th. The future tastes good.
Hey football fans, check this out. It's called FanTag, the easiest way to get video highlights from all of your games. As a parent, I know the value of capturing our kids' special moments on video. FanTag makes it easy to relive a memory or share it with family, friends, and recruiters. Download the FanTag app, and on game day, find your event and get instant highlights delivered right to your phone. So never miss a moment. Try FanTag today. It's free.
This is Academy Sports and Outdoors. We offer a huge sports and outdoors selection of top name brand gear like you've never seen. All at low prices like you've never seen. Because we're a sports and outdoor store like you've never seen. Visit us in store or at academy.com for the guaranteed lowest prices. Academy Sports and Outdoors, for all for less.
Little ideas can turn into big dreams. Big dreams require careful planning and the right partner. A partner dedicated to helping you take care of your employees, protect your business, and plan for the future. It's sometimes overwhelming. It's often exciting. It's your story, and we can help. SWBC.
Today at Whataburger, we're cooking the sweet and spicy bacon burger.
The sweet and spicy bacon burger is my all-time favorite.
I love this burger. It's just perfect.
2 beef patties, 2 different types of cheese, caramelized onions. My favorite thing about this burger is the sweet and spicy pepper sauce and the bacon. You get it in every bite.
Nothing beats this.
The sweet and spicy bacon burger is an all-time favorite at Whataburger.
That's happiness.
You want to bring the heat? Prove it. With carbs to help fuel muscles. And electrolytes to help replace what you lose in sweat. Studied, tested, proven. Nothing beats Gatorade.
On a forbidden Fansville by Dr. Pepper.
Ramon, we can't.
But Julia,
We're rivals.
I can love you and still hate your overrated school.
We have 2 different defensive philosophies. You're a base 4-3 cover 2, and I'm an
aggressive 3-4 with press coverage. I get it, but we both love Dr. Pepper.
Oh, Ramon.
Touchdown, State!
Yes! In your face!
Dr. Pepper, the official drink of Fansville.
How about the Alito Band spelling out a little bit of Texas for the Texas high school football playoffs? That's live right now inside AT&T Stadium. You may be seeing some of those symbol players on the field pretty soon because Alito leads 42-0 over Wichita Falls Rider at halftime. Some of the dancers may be putting on some pads and a helmet pretty soon.
Battle of the bands, baby.
Oh, man, that'd be interesting. But Alito.
That'd be a more entertaining second half. Just suit the bands up. Let's go battle.
Let's go.
I love it.
That's the best, man.
Oh, glad you're with us here on Whataburger Friday Night Stars. We're into hour number 2, and we're losing it in the semifinal week of the 2018 season. Heckma Harrison alongside me, alongside Zach Wolchuk and Eric Chiafalo. Glad you're with us. Okay, you got to stop saying that, man. Got to stop saying that.
The bust?
Let's go to Ryder and Aledo, that game that we just talked about. And there's not a ton to talk about in terms of Wichita Falls Ryder. They just gave up a pick six to end the half.
A one-hander, right?
A one-handed pick six at the end of the half in order to
please tell me you have that highlight.
I'm working on it. I'm trying to get into it. We'll talk about this game first. A little bit of what's happening. That's live inside the Ford Center. A little bit of the band spelling out the Ryder as well.
There you go, Chuck. Look at the band.
It's the battle of the band, and then all the fans involved as well. One of the big things though about Aledo is they had that matchup last week against Reedy, 26-16 final score. Then they had the matchup previously against South Oak Cliff where they won 28-14. This is an Aledo team that now leading 42-0 is in really the easiest part of their schedule, which is crazy because this is a semifinal matchup, but it's just the way the region's worked out this year.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, and it's Chase McClellan who has just put the team on his back. I mean, he's got 850 yards when you're including tonight's stats in the playoffs, and 14 total touchdowns. Now, he's got 95 yards, 3 touchdowns in the first half alone. We've talked at length about Aledo all year long. They lose their best defensive lineman in Cole Ellison, the TCU commit, towards the end of October to a torn ACL, and they've just got, Mac Lucas has stepped up and been outstanding. McCain Smith on the defensive side of the ball leads the team with 100 tackles. And on offense, Jake Bishop, JoJo Earl on the outside. They've got a who's who of weapons, and the fact that most of those guys are all juniors coming back next year. On the flip side for Ryder, a big reason they've had kind of the run to this spot, which I don't think a lot of people expected them to be here, considering they started the season relatively slow at 1-4, winning 8 of their last 9. But they've got an outstanding sophomore class that's really stepped up for them. So moving forward for Ryder, they've got a lot of good football ahead of them, but so does Aledo, and they are taking it to them right now at 45-0. Aledo is just, the Bearcats are a well-oiled machine, man. They just go, 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 and that tradition of the starters don't play the fourth quarter, that's probably going to hold true tonight.
Yeah, no question, man. And you know what was a cool stat that I saw? 92 coming into this game, 92 of Aledo's touchdowns this year, 70 of them were rushing. So what they do on the ground, and 42 of those coming into tonight was McClellan. That dude's just unbelievable. But the way they run the ball and just the talent that they have across the board, if Bishop needs to sling it around, he can do it with 2,000 yards. And you said it, JoJo Earl. You talked about him a few weeks ago, and he's just exploded. I feel like since you brought him up, he's even gotten better.
Yeah, only a sophomore.
And only a sophomore.
Well, he heard Friday Night Stars, and he said, all right, I'm going to take that upon myself.
15 touchdowns, almost 1,000 yards.
He's going to go ahead and flex now. Trajan Bridges, Theo Weeds, you guys are getting all this love. It's JoJo Earl time, baby.
That's right.
And Aledo, look, they're on a course of destiny. They're trying to win their 8th state championship in school history, and that would tie them for the UIL record for the most among 11-man football with Salina, South Lake Carroll, and Katy.
Yeah, Coach Stephen Wood has been good for a number of years. He has a program. It's almost on autopilot the way that he has this team playing. Chase McClellan, JoJo Earl. Where did he come from? Where did he come from? I don't know who he is. I didn't know who he was until you said his name,
just
Chuck.
A baby.
It's like you said. It's like Chuck said his name, and then all of a sudden he popped up out of the turf in Aledo.
He's on your radar.
I don't know. Who else you got hiding over there? The thing that they do, the job that the coach does, as far as the way that they play, the discipline that they play with. He's putting on a coaching clinic every week for opponents because he just keeps the ball away from you. I don't care what kind of offense you got. You're going to sit over there and drink Gatorade for a long time before McClellan and company give you the ball back. They just is what they do. They're monsters. They score on every possession that they get, and their defense is really good. They got guys that Division I talent all over the field, and you just saw that 105-yard return. The kind of athletes that they have even on defense.
I've got that 105-yard return.
Let's check it out.
On the FanTag cam. If we can switch on over to the FanTag cam. This is just before the end of the half. Beating the buzzer. Reach up there, young man.
Gosh.
And then he takes it to the house. Gets a good block from behind.
He's going to
house call for Alito.
He's going to get real small here in just a second. You're not going to see him anymore.
Yeah, he's just riding off into the sunset.
That's exactly right.
I'm looking really hard. I don't know if I can see him anymore.
He can just go ahead and clock out. His night's over.
Yeah,
Way to go.
He's had quite the night. Yeah, exactly. But
I mean, it's just a very athletic play. It's not something easily done, to reach up right there, cherry pick one, and take it to the house.
Alito's doing what they do, man.
What would a 5A
they're
matchup
going back.
look like between like Alito and a Highland Park?
It'd be
pretty close.
It'd be heaven.
Okay.
It would look like heaven, I think.
Okay. I'm curious. I know we're not going to obviously get that matchup, but Alito Highland Park to me seems like one of those games that would just be unbelievable.
Maybe we can get a non-district. We get Coach Wood, Coach Allen together in the same room, and they schedule each other for a non-district.
That would be pretty
opener.
cool.
Yeah.
You look at it from a matchup standpoint now, it's most likely going to be Alito back in the state championship game. But now on the other side of that bracket, you got Fort Bend Marshall and Calallen. How do you say that?
Calallen.
Calallen is where they're going to end up being. And that game underway as of the moment. That's a lot closer than what Alito and Wichita Falls Rider are going up against each other right now. But that state championship game, you look at Fort Bend Marshall, if they're able to get into it, a lot of people pick them as their state championship. Same thing with Calallen and how they look in terms of matchups. But I just don't see Alito being slowed down. They've had that type of season where it basically has been just a freight train and everybody needs to get out of the way.
Yeah, I think we looked at it and saw, with all due respect to everybody that's going to come out of the other side of the bracket, I just don't think there's a team like a College Station that knocked off Alito in the state championship last year. I don't think Fort Bend Marshall is quite as good, or Calallen, as that College Station team was a year ago, and they barely were able to knock off Alito. So we talked all year it would come down to the Golden Bears of South Oak Cliff and that elite defense, and they did. They matched up for the most part pretty well with Alito, but you can't turn the ball over. I mean, it's like when you're playing an Alito or an Allen, these are two teams, they're not going to beat themselves. You've got to play near perfect football if you want a chance to knock them off.
And Kyle Allen's another one of those wing T teams that would be interesting for an Alito defense if you got to play up again. I mean, you just never know. Like we talked about with Longview, you never know when you face these teams once every couple of years. You never know how your defense is going to respond.
Yeah,
Marshall up 12-10 right now over Cal Allen. We showed that graphic earlier.
Everybody got a plan.
Yep.
Everybody has a plan until they get into the stadium with them. It's when we were watching at the beginning of this game, I mean, boy, those guys came into the stadium. They were ready. They were rocking. They got down that tunnel. I was nervous. I was like, who are they playing? Oh, Alito. Alito.
Okay.
And they go out there and you give them 42 points in the first half. I want to see how they walk back to the field in the second half.
Might be a little bit different.
Hey, that's the truest definition of keep that same energy.
And they got 8 sophomores roughly that they're starting. They'll be all right. They'll be okay in the future. This is a good learning experience, right, for those. Rider
80-0 is a great learning experience.
Hey. Also, not to mention Trey Owens, who was the one that ended up with the pick six, 105 yards, also had a 43-yard punt return touchdown in the first quarter. So
it's just Trey.
Oh yeah, Trey Owens.
It's just Trey.
Biggie. Yeah, he's been having himself quite the game with a one-handed interception, and it'll be interesting to see Fort Bend Marshall or Cal Allen how either one of those teams match up against Alito, because we can basically go ahead and write that one in because Alito's been so strong. Moving on to 4A Division I, and this has been an intriguing bracket to say the least, because how about Decatur making their way to a state semifinal for the first time in program history? It's been a magical season for the Decatur Eagles, and then they go up against Waco La Vega. This was a close game. Oh, no.
I was about to say, wait, when?
No, it wasn't.
Right in the opening kickoff, it was a tight game.
Yeah, maybe when it was 0-0. But the Cinderella, what was it, Heckma?
53-0.
No, I was going to say the pumpkin, the carriage pumpkin.
53-0 will definitely make that carriage turn back to a pumpkin, baby.
Yeah. Well, look, another great season for Decatur, much like Ryder. They started the season poorly, 1-4. They made the playoffs at 4-6, and then it was a who's who. They lined them up, and they knocked them down in the playoffs. They beat Dumas, they beat Andrews, they beat a Hershey team that I was really high on, the Hershey Huskies.
Oh, the Huskies, man.
Hereford, and they won all those games by multiple scores.
Yeah.
I mean, they were really dominant, and they had Gunnar Ragsdale, still might be my favorite name in Texas high school football this year, and they just got shut down by La Vega. And we just mentioned about Tascosa and Longview and some of these other teams that want to line up and be the big, bad, ugly, most physical team on the field.
No.
Waco La Vega wants to be that team every single week.
Waco La Vega has John Richards.
Yeah, running that offensive line, dude, is awesome.
Thick as a bowl of oatmeal.
Let's go back.
The only 2 losses La Vega's had all year, John Richards didn't play.
Yeah, right.
That's why they lost.
And it was only by 2 points to Argyle, a team that they turned around and beat last week.
Going back to, I'm telling you, Waco La Vega, to me, they made a bleep on the radar last week versus Argyle because not only, and they wanted this game beforehand, they were calling out Argyle. The student section was saying we wanted them mean tweeting back and forth with each other. And we're all saying, all right, well, careful what you wish for because Bo Hogelboom was on fire. I mean, he was coming back. He's beating teams. I mean, he really was the Chandler Morris of the 4A division.
Yeah.
And boy, did they run up against a buzzsaw because Mr. John Richards last week had himself a heck of a game. And the one thing about Waco La Vega that I love, not only I love their colors, their uniforms, I don't know, something about them.
That blue and yellow.
That blue and yellow, it pops. But they are a very physical team, and they are a big team.
Yeah.
And, you know,
they got size.
They do. And so the physicalness of that team, I think, is something that overwhelms teams. And Decatur, God bless them, I don't think they were ready for that.
I read a quote from their senior offensive lineman, Jalen Malady, in the paper. And they were basically talking to him because La Vega's one of those teams, they're just going to line up and run the football. I mean, they might not throw the ball all game. They can if they want to, but they're going to line up and run it. And his quote was about the offensive line. They've got a saying that others, they get all the glory, but they don't know the story. And the story is John Richards will go out there and put up the stats, but that offensive line has been mauling teams, and those 5 big uglies up front deserve all the credit. John Richards is an outstanding football player, no doubt about it. And Waco La Vega's had a who's who of athletes come through that program, making their 2nd state championship appearance in 4 years, back-to-back state semifinal appearances. Great program, but that offensive line is up there among the best, not only in the state, but I think in the country.
Yeah, well, you don't average 360 rushing yards every single game without an offensive line. That's incredible. You couple that with a guy like Richards who looks like Maurice Jones-Drew out there on the field, like literally. Yeah. I'm just blown away by that guy. And La Vega on an 11-game win streak, now 12, and coming into this game, their smallest margin of victory was 17 points. So they've just been blowing the doors off of people, and it's 11 games in a row. Their defense hasn't given up 21 points or more since early in the season. I think it was week 2 was the last time they gave up 21 points or more. So they're a well-balanced team, very complete. And when you run the ball as well as they do, 480 rushing yards on the ground, that is a recipe for dominance. And then on the other side, Decatur ran the ball for 9 yards. Yeah. You talk about just completely dominating.
Well, they held them to 145 total yards.
Yeah.
I mean, my goodness, that defense was, their defense was outstanding today.
Yeah, Decatur. I'm sorry. I just wanted to tell you, Decatur is definitely a team that they got blew out, right? And there's nothing to be proud of about something like that. But as far as these guys came, if you look at their season, the way that they started versus the way that they finished, they really,
no doubt,
poured it on, and they had a Cinderella type of season. But Cinderella got her shoes back, and
but an awesome season for Decatur, and they played the 5th toughest schedule in the state of Texas. I mean, their district and their non-district slate was basically against all teams that went on to win their district. So they played a who's who, the Kennedales, Midlothian Heritage, a team that we liked a lot that should have beaten Carthage here at the Star a few weeks ago. Great year.
That may be a formula for your guys, your high school, man. They need to schedule tougher opponents in the preseason, maybe that'll carry on when they get to,
that non-district
to the playoff.
Exactly
not to bring up old stuff. I'm sorry.
Oh, but I hear you. That still rubs me the wrong way, too, playing Polytechnic every week.
Yeah, and you look at this bracket overall, it doesn't get any easier for throwing out some shade over
I'm
there.
Sorry. Can I actually
what
throw
did
some
Justin
really
Northwest actually do to you?
Let me just actually throw some love to Decatur really quick because Roman Fuller, their quarterback, for the playoffs was 1,300 yards coming into today and 14 touchdowns. He went on a tear.
45 touchdowns for the season.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, he was a great player.
Monster.
Yeah, he had an incredible
And only
year.
a junior, so Roman Fuller will be back. Watch out for Decatur next year.
Yeah, no, that's big time. And Carthage on the other side, we saw them last couple of weeks here at the Ford Center. They're playing against Liberty Hill. That's a close ball game right now. That one in the middle of the 3rd quarter. Now, we've got Jackson.
Carthage will find a way.
We've got Jackson Donovan on the line. Jackson was at this Decatur and Waco La Vega team, or Waco La Vega game, and I think the least we can do is talk to Jackson Donovan after having to sit through a 53-0 game. But Jackson, how impressive has this Waco La Vega team been? I know you've been at a couple of their games this year.
They have been absolutely outstanding. Their defense has been just incredible. Being able to hold Argyle to less than 20 points, and then Decatur, the Cinderella team coming into this one, the only team in 4A Division I in the semifinals not ranked in the top 10, and be able to shut them out. It was absolutely incredible.
Jackson, how physically impressive up close is John Richards?
John Richards he's very old school. He's one of those runners that the minute you get anywhere near him, you know, the saying nowadays, whenever you want to drive through someone, don't lower your head. He very much so lowers his shoulders, and anyone that tries to tackle him, he's going to carry you for at least 2 yards. And if you get him down in less, you need a trophy.
Jackson, how physically imposing up front is La Vega's offensive line?
Their offensive line is incredible, but I think a lot of that is just the confidence that they have. As imposing as John Richards is in the backfield, all the offensive line knows they need to give him a yard or two to be able to get his first step, and then he's just going to make them look good throughout the game.
This is a Waco La Vega team that I know they've gone through a couple quarterback changes throughout the season, but how impressive were they to be able to kind of figure some things out on that offensive side?
Waco La Vega is going to be interesting watching the state championship game, because they have become hot right at the perfect moment. They know exactly what their identity is, and they roll with it. I watched them last week against Argyle, and then this week against Decatur, and there was no difference between playing outside in 40-degree weather and rain than playing inside in the dorm. They know exactly who they are as a team, and they play to their strengths all game long.
Yeah, that was my question I was going to ask you, man, is what is the identity of this team? You look at the 2 losses that they had without John Richards and now having him, it sounds like to me that their identity is their running back, the tough running that he does.
It absolutely is, and what amazes me is the fact that their defense on any other team except for, Duncanville could be their identity. Their defense is absolutely staggering. They swarm to the ball everywhere. They started today's game on a high note, forcing 2 forced fumbles in the first 3 possessions Decatur had to start the game. And so their identity, yes, is in the running game, but they are definitely not a one-dimensional team.
Jackson Donovan at AT&T Stadium for Waco La Vega and Decatur. Jackson, thanks so much. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks for having me, guys.
There he goes, Jackson Donovan. And I've got the fan tag cam up and a couple touchdowns from this La Vega squad overall, as they've just had really quite the season, especially being able to beat Argyle.
That's a big old kid,
running.
man.
Yeah, he's got some size.
Some thick legs.
Does not go down very easily as he just kind of trots his way into the end zone. And there were a couple plays like that. I mean, there was a 60-yard touchdown run. I've got that one up now here on the fan tag cam. This is from 60 yards out, and this is late in the ball game too. Look at him just come out of this pile, and there he goes. Like he was in the middle of the pile, and then all of a sudden he's in the open space. And that's exactly what La Vega can do.
My biggest complaint for Richards tonight is just that he didn't average 20 yards a carry. Only averaged 19 points. Couldn't get that extra third of a yard per carry. How dare he? And it's just a shame. I thought he had more in him.
He had 139 yards in the first quarter.
Why are we even talking about him?
Unbelievable.
This guy.
He's not even good.
Watch out for Waco La Vega. That's the most impressive team I've seen at 4A level all year long. Now let's go to another game that we've actually got at the Star. Let's take a look inside the Ford Center just across the hallway. This was a 35-0 game at halftime. Pleasant Grove with the football now, and it hasn't changed very much. Iowa Park on the scoreboard, but the defending 4A Division II state champions trying to take down Iowa Park, a team that is playing in the Star for the 2nd straight week. Actually, I think both of these teams playing in the Star for the 2nd straight week. But Pleasant Grove has just dominated this football game from the get-go. And another impressive season for them as we take a look at the 4A Division II bracket overall. Pleasant Grove has gone through some of the top teams in the entire area, and they're going to have to go up against either Cuero or Silsbee on that bottom half of the bracket. Right now it looks like Cuero is winning that football game, that one getting into the second half. But Pleasant Grove, another one of those wing tee type of offenses, those little wishbone, whatever you want to call it. Heckma, did you say wishbone?
Wishbone.
That's what you called it? Yeah, it's something like that. Wing tee, I think, is what they called it. But a little bit of a different look, and you can still put up points in that offense, and they're proving that right now, looking for a second straight state championship.
Yeah, it's just really boom or bust when you run that kind of offense, because if you get against a team that doesn't know how to stop it, you're just, I mean, it feels like it's easy for you. But if you get a team that can absolutely control that, now you look to yourself, okay, what do we do now? Because if we can't spread things out, we don't have any way to adjust. This is what we do, and if the defense stops it, then where do we go from here? Fortunately, Pleasant Grove, they do it so good that teams can't stop them, and it hasn't really mattered. And they do it on both sides of the ball. In the trenches, their offensive line and their defensive line is absolutely dominant. And they do have a quarterback, Ben Harmon. I mean, this guy thrown 27 touchdowns, 22 yards per completion. You see it with a lot of these teams. They don't throw up much, but when they do, it's all about how well they time it. They catch you slipping, and boom, it's a 40-yard touchdown over your head. So Pleasant Grove, they do what they do, and they do it well.
They've been ranked in the top 10. I mean, really all year long. They've been one of the favorites, I think, to be where they are. And, it just creates such a challenge for your defense. You have to be so disciplined when you're playing against a rushing attack like that. We talked about the flex bone and the wishbone. I mean, it comes down to really gap assignments and just being really, really disciplined. And when you get a team that maybe is over pursuing, or when you get into a game where all of a sudden you're a couple touchdowns down, you're getting a little sluggish, you're getting a little frustrated, all of a sudden you start racking off huge chunk plays, and it can really get demoralizing. You're seeing that right now with Iowa Park.
Yeah, just talking the X and O's factor of it. I mean, it's a different style. It's very methodical, and most defenses these days play a 3-4, and so you have a fifth DB in there, and so you're trying to get your DB to take on a pulling guard. And it's a different look altogether. Like I said, it's troublesome, and especially for a defense where you're not used to paying 4 or 5 defensive linemen and going to a steady set. You talk about when they, like the guy you said, he has 27 touchdowns, not a whole lot, not breaking any records, right? But every time he throws it, he's typically scoring because he's lulled that defense to sleep.
Yeah.
And so he dinks it right over the top of their head. That's typically what happens with that offense anyway.
Yeah, it's been pretty wild to watch that all season long, and you look at it here. I think they just punched it in again. It looks like a big-time touchdown for Pleasant Grove. That's not your normal, player to find the end zone. That's one of their third or fourth string running backs.
That's their fifth string running back. Look at him.
Yeah, honestly.
He's the fifth guy.
No gloves. I mean, if you're running back, you don't wear gloves.
Well, he had a glove. He took it off.
Rudy.
Well, they got two. Oh, that's awful. They got two stud
That is
running
awful,
backs,
Heckma. Heckma's about to get all of us fired.
Bruce Garrett and James Wiggins, though, in
All
their
right,
backfield, that's a dynamic duo. 1,700 yards for Garrett, 17 touchdowns, and 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns for Wiggins.
Yeah, they're awesome.
I mean, holy smokes.
Yeah, that Wiggins has been outstanding all year. Let's move on.
Go look at it, man. Look at this guy.
Wiggins.
Wiggins.
3A.
Dominant year.
Oh, man.
What happened in that Malakoff Brock game, Kyle?
Yeah, we're going
Baylor Cup.
We're going to 3A Division I. Baylor Cup did not have a good game.
You're kidding me.
No,
It's the first time ever.
Got injured in the first quarter and really he did catch a touchdown. Actually, I take it back. He did catch a touchdown, but
Dang right he did.
Brock versus Malakoff, and here's some of the highlights from that football game as Malakoff had
He got the
running
mean
game
spat
going. Oh, you talked about thick in terms of the legs for Iowa or for La Vega. How about the Malakoff running game as they have been able to kind of make something happen? Malakoff got up in this game early, 10-0, and then this is a touchdown catch right
at that concentration.
Right at the end of the half, he actually got another chance to put up another touchdown on a Hail Mary, and it went through his hands.
Well, that ball hit him in the head.
That one, yeah, it did hit him
and then he caught the ball, but it hit him in the head first.
There's that touchdown from Baylor Cup, and then this is the game-winning score. That was with just about 3 minutes left, and then Brock ended up on a 3-and-out, and then for the first time in program history, Malakoff heading to a state title.
Awesome. I love that. I love seeing that.
Lots of fun.
Versus Grandview for the 3A Division I state championship. As Grandview knocks off Yoakum 28-14.
There you go. And Yoakum's a pretty good football team. They've been able to.
That's country strong right there in Yoakum.
You're exactly right. But how about Grandview? This is a Grandview team that finished in second in their District 9 3A. And not only did they finish second, but they had a really, really tough road from the get-go. I mean, they took down I'm trying to find their their team right now. Oh, there it is. So Grandview ended up taking down Franklin, who was the number 1 team in all of 3A, 24-21. That game was being played in Waco. They took down a team in the second round, 42-14 in Woodville. Woodville was in the top 25 of the rankings as well. And even their first round matchup wasn't a walk in the park against Rockdale, who was a 7-4 ball club. But now you got Grandview just waltzing their way into the championship game. These two teams played earlier in the season, and Grandview won that football game.
Wow. So we got a rematch.
So you got a rematch.
Is it a close game, though?
I believe it was a close football game. I'm going to get that for you here in just a second. But you don't normally see a rematch in a state championship game, but these two teams did play earlier in the year. Actually, Grandview won it 28-7. And that's one of only 2 losses for Malakoff this season. The other one being against Kemp, 22-20.
It's a different Malakoff team now.
It really is. No, it is. And apparently they've gone through a bunch of injuries throughout the course of the season, and now they're getting back to being healthy overall. So that should be an interesting matchup. That is the 3A Division I state championship bout that we will look at next week. And then 3A Division II, you've got Canadian and Gunter. This is a Gunter team we talked about earlier in the season. Zach, and another chance for them to try and prove that they belong inside a state championship. Well, they're trailing right now by 10. Newton already punching their ticket with a win yesterday. And it's been an impressive run for Newton, but Gunter has a little bit of work to do here in the third quarter of that football game.
Yeah, and this is a game between two teams that have been their third straight season they've met in the state semifinal. So these two teams are used to getting here to this point. Gunter won both previous meetings. Well, the Canadians, they're bringing it to them now tonight, 17-7. They are seeking their 5th state title and 3rd in the last 5 years, and they've got a great player, a dual threat guy by the name of Grant McCook over there for Canadian, one of the best all-around players in 3A. But for Gunter, they were trying to get to their 3rd straight state title game. They won in 2016. They lost last year to Newton, so it would have been a rematch if they were able to win against Newton in that state title game. They've got an outstanding quarterback in Ethan Everson and Dylan Jant, so I know it's one of Guy Frazier's favorite players.
Yeah.
Great 3-star recruit, plays both ways, really good player for Gunter. So I think this would be a bit of an upset. I think a lot of people thought Gunter would take care of Canadian tonight, but how about Canadian coming back and giving Gunter a run for their money here, trying to advance to that state championship, win 3-5.
There's about 50 seconds left in that football game between Canadian and Gunter, so not a whole lot of time left for Gunter to try and make something happen. Going to the 2A Division I, San Saba was a team that we looked at earlier in the season. They knocked off a couple DFW foes. They get taken down by New Deal last night. 35-6 was that final score. Then they will face the winner of St. Augustine and Mason. Actually, that game was played last night. I do not have any updates on that one. For some reason, that has not been updated. Sticking with 2A, just to run through the games, you got Groover and Albany. That game was played last night. Groover moves on. Mart, who we saw at the Ford Center a couple weeks ago, the Mart Panthers beat down Falls City 40-13. So Mart will go back to the state championship game. That one being played on Thursday at AT&T Stadium. Now, guys, I'm not even going to take a break because it's time for something that I've been very excited about. This is the first ever Whataburger Friday Night Stars Awards for the 2018 season. Now, I teased this last week.
Geez, I was hoping to milk this into a full 2-hour show.
It's not going to be. I'm sorry.
Man, well, I hope you don't rush this.
We don't have an announcer or
rush
anybody that's going to give the
I
we're all
we
announcers.
were supposed to wear tuxedos.
I was going to say, what happened?
What happened?
No, we didn't have the red carpet. It's
The build-up,
man.
Maybe we'll do it next week. I don't know.
This is the most prestigious award show.
Well, we got to give a little something.
And this is our first one, Kyle.
Well, do I push it off until next week?
No, I give us a little, pick a couple categories. We'll give a couple.
You have to give me that Emmy voice. You got to give me the Emmy
Save
voice.
the best. Save the
best stuff for next week.
At least, yeah.
Wow, you're going to make me save MVP, offensive and defensive player of the years, and coach of the year?
Oh, man.
I don't know. You got to come back.
I don't know if I can
Maybe we can even save story of the year.
No, we're going to do that.
You want to do that now?
Yeah, I'm going to do
Game of the year? Should we save game of the year?
No, we're going to do that.
Okay, we'll do that one.
We're going to do that one. Okay. Don't even talk about it. Okay. So let's start off with hit of the year, because this is one I've been really excited about.
So hold on. Well, what was the category? What went into figuring out
these
awards?
That's good. Thanks, since you interrupted me originally.
And the hit of the year.
That's nice. We're going to let you do that, actually. So basically what happened is all of us here at Whataburger Friday Night Stars, we put together a bunch of basically we put together 8 categories, and these eight categories were then decided by votes. So
you want to do
put
it like the Heisman.
Our top 3 players or top 3 plays or choices into that, and then because of that they got points, and off of those points, so we've got play of the year, which Eric is going to announce. We've got hit of the year,
laminate this,
which Heckma has. Story of the year, which is going to be Mr. Zach Wolchuk, which is going to have to reach across the table to get it, and then game of the year.
Can I get game of the year instead?
If you want to trade,
I'd like to.
No trades. No tradesies.
Okay. Yeah, we'll trade these. It's okay. It's not Secret Santa. Don't worry. But Coach of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year.
I still got story over here. Eric messed it up.
He switched it up.
He didn't switch it.
And then MVP will be decided next week. But none of these guys know who is in there. Don't read it.
I'm not.
If you haven't read it already,
I'm not looking.
Starting with we're starting with hit of the year, and we've got 3 finalists for. I think 2 finalists actually for hit of the year. Usually we have 3 finalists. Let's take a look at the 2 finalists for hit of the year, and this is really not any surprise. Rockwall's Anthony Orgy.
Yep.
Called the Belting versus Belton, as he just laid down the absolute wood on a Belton receiver. And then Duncanville's Chris Thompson, how about that? Bringing the wood versus Southlake and laying down TJ McDaniel. Let's take a look at both of these hits. If we have them ready to go, starting with Rockwall's Anthony Orgy. Oh, man, this is just a great.
Over the middle. Great. Oh, my gosh. And he hangs on to the football, though. That's the most incredible thing.
Here it comes again.
Here it is. Boom.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
It gets even, it feels like it gets harder every time.
All for about
and then
7 yards.
Here's Chris Thompson. This happened last week at the Star against Southlake. Watch TJ McDaniel.
TJ.
Boom.
Oh.
The best part about that play is you're not sure if it's the Will Bowers hit or if it's the McDaniel hit. Both of them get smacked.
I'm sorry. That is, well, all right.
I
I got
love
the
the
envelope in my
reaction.
hand. I got the envelope in my hand.
I know Heckman's vote.
Now, oh, man, I keep watching this. I just want to watch this over and over again.
All the angles
Let's watch
you could ever
both
imagine.
of them over and over.
Mama!
Oh, man. Here we go. Now, Heckma.
Drum
Who you
roll,
got?
please. And with the hit of the year in the first annual Friday Night Stars, Chris Thompson versus Southlake's TJ McDaniel.
Oh, man.
My God, guys, this is look, guys, I want to make sure that I accept this award for Chris Thompson. Chris Thompson couldn't be here tonight. He's preparing for a really big game tomorrow.
Yes, and maybe there will be another one like that tomorrow
sir.
that we will have to talk about.
Jeez.
But
they could have each won awards.
no,
there.
and honestly, in voting
beautiful.
this was one of the 2 closest awards. I'll tell you, I'll spoil the other one. I'm not going to say who won, but Coach of the Year was extremely close. That was the closest by far. I think it was separated by 1 point.
Wow.
If I have to look back on it, I don't have my paper in front of me, but it was separated by 1 or 2 points. This one was separated by, I think, 3 points between all of the voting, and it was close between the both of them. We only needed 2 finalists for that one because it was that impressive.
Yeah, Chris Thompson.
Let's go to Play of the Year, talking about the 3 finalists for Play of the Year. As the hits were incredible, but there have been some wild plays over the course of the 2018 season.
And the nominees are
Coppell's Caden Davis, the 57-yard field goal versus Saxe for the Cardiac Cowboy win. That one all the way back in week 1.
And we're snubbing a really good
legend. Which one?
John Tyler, Hail Mary.
Yeah, John tell you. Yeah, that was a
I think
big
people
time
forgot
play.
about that play.
That was a huge
It was
play.
on my list.
Then you also got the hook and ladder for the win, and then the halfback pass.
That's a who's who
as
right there.
well. Now we've got only the winner to look at because of how this ended up turning out overall. Let's take a look at the winner, Eric Chiafalo.
All right, a lot of good people here, but the winner is none other than the hook and ladder, the Colony versus Lone Star at Toyota Stadium for the win. The Colony gets the victory over Frisco
and
Lone
the
Star.
winner is,
and they are the second award winner of the evening.
It's
Here's
not
the
every
play.
day you see a hook and ladder.
Unbelievable!
he
too much
gone.
Speed.
Almost dropped it too. There was a little bit of a bobble.
Bit of a bobble.
Incredible.
Still just hate the fact that we're playing on a
but look at the execution of this play, though, guys. Come on. He gets
Brilliant.
it there. Boom, and he's got to be on time. Oh, got it, and gone.
For the Colony to upset.
That is execution right there. That is execution. And do you know we missed that live on air, guys?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Why did we have to
Thank you.
God,
I'm just saying we missed it. We were watching it.
Goodness.
Congratulations to the Colony. That's incredible.
Way to go, Colony.
You have an acceptance speech?
No, they actually didn't write one. So
Yeah.
I guess they
didn't write one on that one either.
Rude.
It's a prestigious award that they should be thrilled.
Well, it is a prestigious award.
And now for the game of the year.
Oh, is that where we're going with?
You want to go with the game of the year? Well, let's hear what the nominees are.
The nominees, the three nominees.
And the three nominees
for
are
game of the year. These were incredible games as well. How about the one that happened at the Star this past week? John Tyler versus Highland Park. The Highland Park win, where they ended up coming back and winning 42-35. They were trailing by 21 points heading into the fourth quarter, and they come back and win. DeSoto versus Manfield Lake Ridge. That was an incredible game as well. And then South Lake versus Denton Geyer. We talked about the halfback pass that happened earlier. That game was pretty incredible as well. But the winner of this one, look at it, Mr. Zach Wolchuk.
And the winner is.
And the winner for game of the year.
This is huge, guys.
Highland Park versus Tyler.
Of course it is! Of course!
Bum, bum, bum.
That makes sense, because the highest stakes were in that game. It's
Yes.
a playoff game. Everything's on the line.
Well, we did miss also Midlothian Heritage and Carthage, which was an outstanding game. But this one, no doubt. You have that 21-point comeback for Chandler Morris and company.
You got to bring up old stuff.
And I'll accept this award on behalf of Chandler Morris and the Highland Park Scots. They've also got a big game tomorrow against
Chandler Morris is a little busy tonight.
They're a little
couldn't
busy.
be here?
Couldn't be here. I don't know what the Colony's deal was.
I think they were a little upset because our handy-dandy note cards here that tell us who's won or not.
Well, no, I just want to say, we got to save these because your beginnings mean something.
That's
so,
true.
like when you finally get one of those pretty ones, like and this comes in the black, then it has like
proper envelope,
adhesive on it, and all that proper
one
stuff.
that I didn't write in my truck on the way here.
Yeah. So just remember this, guys. We got to keep this.
This is brilliant.
That's pretty ratchet, though. We got it, though.
It's great, actually.
I almost couldn't read Kyle's handwriting.
Oh, wow, thanks. I do have some of the highlights from that game against John Tyler
Really
on
was
the
an epic
Fantag
football
cam.
game. An instant classic. I think we got this one right.
This is the final couple seconds. Here we go. Here are the highlights.
That's
finally work it out. That's the handshake afterwards.
It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday.
There it is. So
Tyler.
You're exactly right. And this is a game overall with John Tyler. They dominated the first three quarters of this football game. They were up 35-14 heading into the fourth quarter. And Highland Park couldn't figure things out. They were able to run the ball at will. Look at the power from John Tyler. And the only thing I heard all game long was they're too big. They're wide. This team is strong. You look at just some of the legs on that defense, but then the throws started finding receivers. Highland Park had to rally at halftime, had to rally in the fourth quarter, had to figure some things out. And ever since that happened, the Scots were able to come back from a 21-point deficit heading into that fourth quarter in order to win the football game, as you see the post-game huddle. But we will move on, as will Highland Park, in terms of playing next week, or actually
tomorrow. Just a few hours.
Just a few hours away. And I've got one more award.
What are you holding on to? Which one is that one?
This is probably the best one.
This is Story of the Year.
And the Story of the Year.
Nominees
are.
There you go. Man, you've got the best Emmy voice.
Of course.
These are some incredible stories. How about Birdville and the Brotherhood between Stone Earl and Mixon?
I like that.
That's a really cool story.
I like that. No, come on. Don't tell me no. Not at the button.
I just want to see little clip play. We can't get that.
I don't know if I can get it on there.
My mom is so embarrassed about that. Mom, I'm sorry.
Your mom's embarrassed about it.
Why is your mom embarrassed?
Because I won an oratorical contest back when I was a kid. She just figured I'd have more words. I could just conjure up a rap
Let's admire
song.
these three storylines.
Well, South Oak Cliffs turnaround, what a season it was for Coach Todd and company, a friend of the show, and everything that they really did before going up against Aledo. And
it's the brotherhood. It's got to be the
how
early
about
Mexican.
Haltom in their season? Let's not snuff the Buffaloes here for a little bit, because Haltom and the Buffaloes had an incredible year on their end as well, but we do have a winner, and the winner for here, actually, Heckma, can you enter? I'm going to read it, but
you're going okay.
I want you to lead into it.
What's the category one more time?
The story of
the year, Heckma.
And for the first annual Friday Night Stars Award for Story of the Year,
Birdville Backfield Brotherhood.
Thank you.
Big time.
Way to go, Stone Earl.
Stone Earl. Way to go, Stone.
How about those Birdville Hawks, baby? Unbelievable season.
Gotta love the Birdville Hawks.
But you know what? That's literally, guys, I was telling a guy last week, that was an amazing story if you didn't go back and check that out.
Yeah, NBC5, Pat Doney, they went ahead and replayed it last week. I'm sure you can find it on their social media or their website, but they did an outstanding story about Stone Earl and Ladarius Mixon and the literal brotherhood that now is.
And they're only juniors, so they'll be back next year. The story continues.
Yep.
Rut-roll.
Story will continue. Hey, maybe we'll have a repeat winner.
Oh, wow. Story of the year twice. Hey, this story's good enough to win it twice in a row. Absolutely.
It is. No, it's really that good of a story. Now, with all of this being said, we've got a little bit of business now to take care of because it's time to do some predictions.
Predict it.
Predictions. Not a lot of predictions. So, Heckma, your chance to catch up to Zach is dwindling.
Fine.
But we don't know the exact numbers yet.
We don't know the exact numbers.
We got Bernie Madoff doing the numbers.
So we're gonna have this is the 7th or 5th or 10th, 20th week.
Something like that.
Kyle has said.
Anyway,
next week.
I conceded to you a long time ago. Again, I'm picking the tougher games. I'm taking the I'm not going with the sexy picks like so many people do here.
We got into your head, Eric and I. We will take credit for this. We got into your head. We got to you with the chalk picks, and now
you got to me.
You are starting to go out on some limbs.
No way
I see you just branching out.
Ties.
Bought a little real estate in Heckma's head.
I'm going to catch that as a drop, and we're going to use that next week because you were on camera. It was a one shot, and you were branching out.
There's a lot of tumbleweed up here.
Good for you, Heckma.
Of Heckma.
Well, we've got 3 games to talk about in terms of prediction games this week. And the first one we're going to start with is Amarillo Tascosa versus Longview, 8 p.m. AT&T Stadium tomorrow. Actually, all 3 of these games are tomorrow at AT&T Stadium. It's a part of the triple header that is about the best football you could hope for in terms of a semifinal matchup day of football.
I don't know what the price of admission is, but it's worth it.
It's worth it. It will be worth it. Zach and I will be in attendance. Eric, I know you have to work, unfortunately.
I do, but I'll be watching on the tube, baby.
Heckma, are you going to be in attendance tomorrow?
I'm going to be standing on the sidelines, baby.
Wow.
Wow, we're all going to be there. So,
Panthers
by the way, if you're at AT&T Stadium and you see us
walking
around,
to us, the Friday Night Stars crew.
Come say hi. We'll
Definitely.
take a picture.
Heckma and I are going to be partying for Duncanville Allen.
Duncanville Allen. We'll talk about that game here in a second. But how about Amarillo Tascosa versus Longview? Who you got? Heckma, start us off.
You know, it's going to come down to some very important things for me. I think Longview is the more physical team, but I don't believe that they've seen a running game like Tascosa's. But I'm still going Longview, guys.
Okay. Zach, who you got?
I got the Lobos. I'm taking Longview here. I just think they're more of a complete football team. No disrespect to Amarillo Tascosa. They've had a great year. But I'm all about Haynes King, Keelan Williams, and Lobo. And that defense is really, really good, too. I think they'll be able to slow down that rushing attack.
Yeah, I love the Lobos here. I think Amarillo Tascosa deserves a ton of credit for getting where they've gotten, the teams they've beaten, the quarterbacks they've beaten. That defense is absolutely real. But Longview last week, 4 turnovers, still won the game. Haynes King had his worst game of the season. Their stud quarterback, they still won the game. And I just think Tascosa offensively with that flexbone offense, I think they're too one-dimensional. I think Longview's defense is plenty good to contain that and slow it down. And Longview offensively is going to be able to put up some points, more points than I think Haltom and Arlington have been able to do.
I agree with you there. I just think the matchup is there for Longview, and I think the Lobos pull it out. So across the board, Longview and the Lobos picked up as winners here. Let's go to the noon game first. Highland Park, Denton Ryan, round number 3. The bell in the side of the boxing ring is ringing tomorrow at noon because this is a matchup between 2 programs, storied programs that do not like each other. We talked about this at length earlier, but who was favored in 2016?
Denton Ryan.
Who was favored in 2017?
Denton Ryan.
Who won both of those games?
Highland Park.
Who's favored this year?
Didn't Ryan?
I don't know. I think Highland Park is favored this year.
No.
Being that they've won the last 2 in a row and they're the 2-time defending state champions, I think they are. And with the game that Chandler Morris and the things that they just did last week, I would consider Highland Park to be the favorite here, though it's completely neck and neck. If you're asking me who I'm picking Highland Park. Chandler Morris, what he did last week, absolutely just completely blew me away. And I think that Denton Ryan team, really, when they're at their best, they're getting turnovers, and not only that, but they're scoring defensively. I think Highland Park takes care of the football too well. Chandler Morris is the best player on the field amongst some great players, and Chandler Morris wins that game for Highland Park.
I did just look it up, and actually,
by the counting
Ryan
numbers.
is, what was it?
By the counting numbers.
Really?
Yeah, by the counting numbers. Denton Ryan is actually favored by 3 points, so you were correct.
Told you.
Bulletin board material.
So look, we know that Chuck can't pick because he's actually got to do the color.
He's still going to call the game.
Can
still
he
gonna
do
pick
that?
the game,
I thought he couldn't do that because he's big time. He's big
special.
Well, I'm not that special.
No, you're not.
I can't do it. I can't call. I can't
Yes,
pick
you
this
can.
one. I can't
pick
pick
it. No, we're going to force you to pick it because you
So
used
here's
to
the
work
thing.
for Denton Ryan.
Here's the thing.
And then you worked for Highland Park, and you're going to be calling the game, so I want you to pick this.
So here's the thing. If he wasn't working the game tomorrow, he would pick Denton Ryan because of Coach Hennigan, his homie.
Okay.
All right.
Seth.
He would all of that. You know how he do.
He loves him.
You know how he starts to rattle off the names and how he does, and he started, and then towards the end he starts. And you know, when Drew Sanders has got his, you know how he does it, and he does his hands like that, and then the money Bailey, because you know he starts to do his thing.
Oh man!
All right.
So you know what he's gonna
You see what I put up with?
And so, guys, you know that what he's going to do. And so I'm going to go ahead and take his pick for him because he has to pick Highland Park, and he's going to do it. All right? But I'm taking, man, I'm not picking against Tarzan. I'm going with the man number 16. I just think Drew Sanders is tough. And I mean, look, I didn't think that HP would get past John Tyler, but they did it. And I know that Chandler Morris has a little satchel with a little HP dust in it that he's sprinkling on football fields. I don't know, but I think that there's an answer to that, and it's his name is Drew Sanders. And so I am so looking for. I will be at AT&T Stadium at 10:30 tomorrow.
Oh, I like a little tailgate.
I'll be there. I got to get there early, and so it's going to be asked.
Hang out in the booth with us. Man.
You know where I'm gonna be.
Oh, I know.
I don't need an invite. That's where I'm.
All right, he's going to be in there anyway.
Well, excuse me.
What are you
I'm
talking
turn around.
You see what he did?
I'm going to be on the sideline for this game, so I'm going to be doing the sideline reporting for the broadcast as well.
So you can't pick it either.
Oh no, I'm picking Highland Park. I think they're too strong. I think Highland Park is going to get the job done. I know you look at it on paper and you say, hey, Denton Ryan is really good this year. I still don't think, without number 3 in the backfield, Spencer Sanders, you can't tell me that Denton Ryan's better than what they were the past 2 years. I think Highland Park's better this year than they were last year. And I think they were better this year than they were 2 years ago. I really do. I think they're that good because I think they're more well-rounded. I think there were better players. John Stephen Jones, Kate Sotstad. I think there were better individual players on those Highland Park teams.
Better than John Stephen.
I think so too. I think they're as
whoa,
rounded.
Whoa! You're talking about trying to get us fired and out of the studio.
Oh well, yeah, we are in the.
Jeez.
No, there's a mutual
look, John
respect.
Stephen Jones goes down as one of the legendary Landry Award, one of the best quarterbacks to ever lace him up in high school. But
Chandler Morris still a respect.
Chandler Morris is special, no doubt.
He definitely is. I'm picking Highland Park. I just think third time's the charm is not going to happen for Denton Ryan. Now, Zach, you're picking this game.
I'm not picking it, man.
Yes, you are.
We don't want to bias broadcast tomorrow, though, Zach.
He's doing it. He did the hand thing. He did it.
Scared. He's so scared.
I love it. I love it. Ooh, it's hot in that seat.
Speak it into existence.
If Spencer Sanders,
no ifs, no.
I could not defeat Highland Park the last 2 years, I would be flabbergasted.
Yes.
If Denton Ryan were to beat Highland Park tomorrow, that's what I'll say.
So he's picking Highland Park to win. All right, moving on to
he's going to be flabbergasted if Denton Ryan wins. Oh wow. The 3-point favorite Denton Ryan.
It's really the same reason that I said. With Spencer Sanders in the backfield, even though he was banged up, I still think that Denton Ryan team was much better.
Will somebody please
record
record this segment for me? I want this one right here.
It's all recorded.
I know.
Yeah, but if Denton Ryan wins, I mean, are we?
I want this part.
I mean, my goodness.
Which part do you want?
Are we going to have a flabbergasted Kyle Yeomans on the sidelines tomorrow if Highland Park loses?
Yes, absolutely. Flabbergasted all over the place.
You'd be shocked.
Yeah, I'm going to be absolutely shocked. Okay, how about this one? Allen and Duncanville, the game of the week, pretty much the game of the decade. I've never been as excited about a football game as I am about this one. And I looked it up on just to see what the line is going to be. Guess what the line is, if you had to guess either way.
I think it's even.
I would say Allen's probably favored by
3.
Less than 3.
Okay. Are you picking, what is it?
Sure, Allen by 3.
Allen by 3. What is your guess?
Yeah.
Allen by 3. It's a pick'em game. Allen in a pick'em game. There's no favorite. It's a straight even line because nobody knows how this game is going to turn out. And I'm really interested to see what the pick'ems were going to be here. Zach, since I made you go last time, I'm going to make you go first here.
I've been waiting for this one, boys, since week 1. The giant, the Goliath, that is the Allen Eagles. They go down for the 3rd time in the state semifinals over the last 10 years. The Duncanville Panthers and that defense, they get after it. They make the necessary plays. Jaquindon Jackson is Superman. He pulls open the chest. You see the S underneath the jersey. The Duncanville Panthers are state championship bound.
Somebody record this. I don't have to do my. He just did
awesome.
it. He just did it. That's it. It's over. It's a wrap.
Wow. Heckma, 2 for 2 on Duncanville right now. Is that what it is? Should I make it 3 for 3? I think I'm going to. I think Duncanville's defense. I think the interior injuries on the offensive line for Allen becomes huge in this game. They have not seen a defense like Duncanville. If Rockwall had any semblance of a defense, Allen would have lost that game. I think Duncanville wins this game. They go down as the best defense in Texas high school football history.
Wow. That's tough with Dangerfield, but I think you're
Move
exactly
over
right.
Dangerfield. The Panthers
It's
are
over.
clawing
It's right
through,
there.
baby.
No, it's right there. Especially if they're able to shut down Allen. If there's like if it were like South Lake Carolina,
It's 51-7.
if it's something like that,
the
then
nation
it would
will
be
take
over.
note.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, then it would be a complete
Hands
thing.
down, Walchuk, we've asked for this matchup. We did that probably 13 weeks ago. We said if the football gods, if there are football gods, then make this
Hey, you
matchup.
asked for it. Who can slow down the Allen spread?
There's only one guy.
This is it, baby.
This is only one team. And so, Duncanville, look, you guys, if you had your hand on the pulse of the neighborhoods in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, I'm telling you, it's burning hot. I don't care if you graduated from Madison High School, South Oak Cliff High School, Adamson, Lincoln. Everybody in the city tonight is a Duncanville Panther. Everybody's pulling for them. I'm telling you right now, it is the best defense, hands down. You have never seen anything like this. And last week in the Twitter sphere, everybody starts pulling out their phones and saying, oh, my God, Duncanville has the best team ever. We've been saying it for 15 weeks on this show, guys.
Watch Friday Night Stars.
You need to watch Friday Night Stars.
No one knows.
What do we call them? The Duffel Bag Boys,
Boys,
because
baby.
they big and they moving. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry to tell you, if you favor them, you better get your money back right now, because the Duffel Bag Boys is coming to AT&T Stadium at 4 o'clock, guys, and they're going to set attendance records. This thing is going to set TV records for a high school game tomorrow at 4 o'clock. I can't believe it. Can we go right now? Can we go right now? All right, can we just go right now?
To 4 o'clock
Let's go
tomorrow?
right now. This is a game. I cannot wait.
All right, I've got a
I got
I've got a prediction still to make.
Oh, you're still picking?
Duncanville 42, Allen 14.
Oh, you whoa.
I think it's going to be a big win.
You're putting out a score. Dude,
that is.
Goodness gracious.
42 to 14.
Does that give you a little bit of excitement?
Chuck, you see Chuck straighten up a little bit.
Does that make you a little excited?
Man,
Now
Never seen Chuck turn into Santa
I
Claus
don't
over
think I've
there.
ever seen Allen get beaten like that before. That would be a
Holy
first.
Oh, man. Well,
Honestly, the way this whole conversation's gone makes me now want to lean Allen.
Yeah, I think Allen's
my
got this
gosh,
one, boys.
I just got scared out of my own pick.
well, it has been an unbelievable semifinal week.
This is greatness.
Previewing, reviewing, talking about Texas high school football. Alito looks to be on their way to a title game. Highland Park, Denton Ryan tomorrow. Allen, Duncanville tomorrow. How about a little bit of Malikov on this one-handed touchdown play to beat Brock? They're heading to a 3A state championship.
Play of the year!
How about the play of the year? Whoop, whoop. The hook and ladder. Gave out some awards. We've talked some high school football. Now,
Get the
time
big dog
to play
awards
the game.
next week, baby.
Anthony Orji. Oh, worth another look.
Ow! Oh, that should have won.
Runner-up for hit of the year. Another play of the year. How about the halfback pass? Oh, look at that. South Lake Carroll over Denton Geyer. La Vega.
Wait, they throw the ball?
They throw the ball, and they
Mr.
throw it
Rawls
well.
can do it all.
Uh-oh. Law and Order. Or the law firm.
There it is.
Get off me. Get off me.
Oh, man.
House call.
Allen, Duncanville.
What a game tomorrow.
Tomorrow night.
Christmas come early.
14. Golly, Allen's going to go to bed and wake up tomorrow, and that's going to be all
what
over.
A pick.
You see Kyle Yeomans on Friday Night Stars?
That's what's going to happen.
42-14.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We're Whataburger Friday Night Stars. We'll be back next week for the final week of the 2018 season. For Chris Beam, for Matt Kent, for Chance Williams, Mr. Eric Chiafalo, Zach Wolchuk, and Heckma Harrison, I'm Kyle Yeomans. Thanks for watching. So long until the final round.